Saddle up.
Sweet love for a lifetime. I'll be there when you need me. Just call and receive me. Sweet lady, would you be my sweet love for a
Genesis family out there, saddle up, saddle up, saddle up. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? On this beautiful summer afternoon. Hope everything is cushy with you. Hope that you're realizing all your hopes and dreams and everything that's coming through. You know what I mean? And I hope that things are going according to your plans. Most important, you know? So let me rise up all technicians and management and everything like that. It goes in to make up the formidable team that we have down here in the Genesis neck of the woods. So in tune to Genesis Radio. And of course, you know what time it is. It is the People's Talk Show. And you know what to do, and you know how to conduct yourself, as you well know, with respect and honor to all of those that are here, to those that would join in, so we can do things and see whether we can gel together in some way, shape or form, so we can move forward. You know, we don't have to depend on anyone. Not a dependence game. So hopefully we can all share ideas and concepts together and make it a well-ordered day for us today. You know, if you're bored, sitting there, may have nothing to do, you may want to just engage in some conversations that are around. You know, a lot of things happening, of course. I don't know if you have one sec, folks. I don't know whether you're into royalty or whatever. You know, the main event today, this week, was, of course, you may want to talk about that. You know, it's going to be free for all today. I have no particular topic today. I just want to be. I want you to whatever you want to talk about, be free. Feel free to talk about it. If you're for the royals, or if you're not, you want to explain why. A lot of explanations in the media, tainting them as what you call it, they're colonialists, and you know, white people ain't love us, and of course people are entitled to their own opinion, of course, but I kind of just feel that you know, we've done all of that before, and I'm thinking we've done all of that, but people are free to feel whatever way they want to feel, you know. And if you feel aggrieved and you feel it's a waste of time, and if you feel like you want to express that today, feel free. You're entitled to do that. If you think it's a good thing, if you can see anything good at all in it, you know what I mean? I can see good in anything, you know what I mean? Now, I was kind of less tolerant at one point, but now I feel that I am more tolerant than I was many moons ago. You know what I mean? I'm more tolerant now, and I can see things clearly. I'm not bogged down by my I'm not bogged down by my own thinking too much. You know, where I just see myself and no one else. You know, I kind of moved away from that to more or less a more balanced view, I suppose, if you want to call it that. But I think I've become more balanced in my outlook, whereas before I never used to be that way. You know, it was just a case of doing as I please and feeling the way I please, and because of a particular perception in life, I don't even know whether my perception was correct or not. That's why they call it opinions. You know? And you know what I say about opinions, right? Opinions are like arseholes. Everybody's got one. If you pardon my French this afternoon, I realize, of course, I'm mindful of there are people around, and young people too. So I'm not going to be too foul. You know, I'm not foul mouth. I don't personally think I have to be that way. Make no difference. So, but as I said, opinions are opinions, isn't it? And we can share it. I mean, it ain't going to make much difference, but we can share it. It's not a problem. We can vent our frustration and anger. We can vent, and our ideas and perceptions and whatever. And who knows what may come out of it. Things can happen, So I wouldn't be too averse to people, voicing their opinion, which is good. I mean, if that's all we got, and that's all we got in it. We have not developed any political power yet to influence the political, process, the lawmaking process, and all these kind of processes. But again, they have to refer to the people in any case. You know what I mean? They have to refer to them in any case. So it's not that we're excluded from the law, the decision-making principle in life, as we know that we are actually influencing the political system in any way. Of course we are. I think we are. I think we're influencing it very well. I think they realize that without us, they have to have some kind of or some kind of a recognition to us. You know what I mean? It's not going to be just like we're going to do it regardless of what anything. They don't matter, and which they do matter. I think what it is, they realize that we do matter, and we have great influence in some way. So, and I think that the political system is one where if it can fool you not to participate in it, and along with all those other negative influences that we've been having, I'm not going to vote, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to. So what are you doing in the society? You're coming like a dead weight then, innit? You may be even the ones that are preventing us from progressing, because you come like a dead weight, just sit there doing nothing, yet you want to use the services. It's not rocket science to work it out. If you're going to use the services, then you have to participate. You can't just be on the fringes all the time, sitting down there and bloody moaning about things. You know what I'm saying? You have to get on board, follow, you do what the system says, because there's no other. And if you're not going to be participant in the system, there's going to be a stumbling block in the way of progress, then you'll get run over anyhow. You can moan all you like. You can protest all you like. If you're not participating in the system, then you're just going to be ignored. And that's all. And that's where a lot of us have been, for the last 40 odd years. People have come along and they have begun to influence us, but they're really nobody. But they just have this idea, just because they can, these little dead weights as well, the little sheeples that we have among us, plenty sheeples, that just follow on aimlessly like tumbleweed, no real bearing, just the fact that's the sound bites, and that's what we got. We're huddled together with people like that, and I believe that those people like that is a waste of space, and we need not to be hobbled around sheeple. Why would you want to hobble around sheeple in any case, who can't make their mind up, who know nothing, who just go along like a brain dead people, just so the Setian can get to come and manipulate the brain dead ones, the cannon fodder ones who just don't know anything, who just don't like anything, and the Setian can rally them to his cause, because he can manipulate them through their emotions. So, whatever your take on things may be, we'd like to hear it. It's not going to, make a difference to a great difference to the decision-making system. But you can begin to explore, and I don't see anything wrong in learning the system that you're in. And I don't see anything wrong in learning to be strategic, less emotional, more strategic. In any case, I'm so glad that all these little fringe groups all over the place, they have no bearing on the decision-making process, and I'm glad for that. And these little fringe groups about the place, masquerading as liberation groups, people don't really take the notice of them. They have got no power. They're weak and impotent. If you don't know that, I can tell you that. Wasting your time with these kind of little fringe groups barking all over the place saying niche. You know what I mean? And so, if you're influenced by that, you're in the minority. I'm telling you. You're in the minority. All these Back to Africa groups, liberation groups, our little fringe groups are in the minority. They have no bearing on nothing whatsoever. So if you belong to one of them groups or you think you're somewhere, look again, because you're nowhere pretty quick. You know, you've just been going around in circles and can't leverage anything. You know what I mean? So don't think you're somewhere when you belong to any of these little fringe groups. You're wasting your time. As I said, we're looking for the fountainhead. The fountainhead of the majority of the blacks. That's what I'm looking. Do you know where it is? But one thing I always blame them for. Somebody needs to rally these majority blacks, right? But they don't want to be against. You see? They don't want to be influenced against all the time, being against this, against that, against the political system, against white men, against... Oh, come on, man. That is why these little fringe groups are on their own. You may turn on your radio one, even this one, but this is not a political fringe group. We're not trying to educate you against the white man. We're not trying to educate you against the system. In actual fact, we're telling you that you need to go out and you need to go and learn politics. You need to go and study European systems. That's what we're telling you to do. In order, not because we want you to be in awe of it, but what we really want you to do is to get to know it. And you should know it by now. If you're in this country for so long a time and you don't know how the system runs, you're to me, you're just a waste of space. And if you don't know what to do, enable to sort yourself out, like the Windrush thing. I mean, I was caught up in that. Not that I was being deported, but because I've been here from 1959. In any case, long before Windrush situation came about, where they were able to manipulate us, and I came on a British passport. In any case, you see. So, but I didn't have my citizenship, or neither did I have a valid British passport. In any case, but because of them, I went for a Jamaican one. Innit? I never needed that, but I was told I needed one, brethren. So it's me and them now. Because I'm going to go for compensation. You see what I'm saying to you? Because I went there the other day. Said, listen, and I had my passport, and a good thing I didn't listen to other people trying to push me to go and sit your test. I said, what test? I refused point blank to go and sit any test. I ain't sitting in no test. I'm not going to spend £1,500 nowhere to go and sit no test about no England, which I know a lot about, and I'm not going to pay no £300 for no biometric crap neither. I don't give a damn. I've got stamped in my passport indefinite leave to remain. And according to one of the solicitors I spoke to, she said, do you know what it says in your passport? It says indefinite leave to remain, and it means that. I thought, oh, fine, great, sweet. But now I have the opportunity to go and get my things for free. So I'm going to do that. It cost me nothing, brethren. So he sorted it out Saturday, went up there, sorted that out, sorted this, took photographs, took fingerprints and everything now, and went to get my biometric card. So I seized the opportunity. Now, if there was a little fringe group trying to encourage me to be against this, I'm like, you are African, or but I ain't got no citizenship of an African country. You see what I'm saying to you? I hear all these Back to Africa groups talking, but are they, what is their status? Have they got residency in this country, or do you think they can just go and say, I'm an African, I'm going to come and live in your country? No, you can't do that. Instead of telling the people about how they should go about obtaining their residency and becoming a citizen of the country, you just can't go and tell people I'm coming here because I was taken away 500 years ago. It's getting more ridiculous as these groups, right, are getting more ridiculous as the day goes by. Shouting out all sorts of crap with a little sheeple mentality A lot of sheeple following them all over the gaff, like nobody, like Peter Pan. You know what I mean? And things like that. You got the dumb that follows, ain't you? So you got to be mindful of which group you mix with, because you see the leaders of that group. I bet you any money the leaders of those groups are already settling. They already got their stay here, you know, right? And I bet you any money they are citizens of this country. I bet you any money. Most of these little Back to Africa groups, they're either born here, those founders, right? And they got themselves sorted out, you know. But they're not going to tell you to sort yourself out, because that's what I'm saying to you. For the 27 years that we've been listening to these Back to Africa groups, and they're always telling you to go back to Africa, but never go and sort yourself out. Now, if they really cared about our community, that is what they would have been saying to you. You see what I'm saying? If they really cared about our community, they would have gone back and they would have said, okay, all right, let me tell you guys something. It's best you guys go and get yourself sorted out. You see what I'm saying to you? You know, and then start thinking about the community that way. Start show the community that they care about them. And we got to get this clear in our minds. What position do we take up? You understand? As black people, there's those that are in it for the identity thing. You know, they're all broken-hearted about their predecessors being taken away from Africa, and they feel it. And so I think one of the questions we need to ask today, is it correct psychologically, mentally, to forget about the past? That's a big one. Do we, like some of these fringe groups trying to do, get you to be continually entangled in slavery, right? Or do we seek closure? It's a very important question. And some of them bully groups, I call them so bullyish, you know what I mean? They want to bully you into remaining a slave. You know, they haven't checked out the psychological underpinning of the situation. They haven't checked out whether it's better if I do my research and see whether it's psychologically better for me to forget about slavery, right? Because the ones who bully you into say, oh, you are a sellout, or you are a, what? You're in denial. They haven't even looked into it, you know. But they have jumped on the fact, they're thinking, they want to make you feel guilty, a manipulation of your emotion, you know. Right? Saying to you, oh, you are in denial. You know, these kind of bully tactics that these little fringe group use. They're useless, you know, because they don't make any headway. Check it out. Why do you belong to these groups in any case? They ain't going nowhere. You know what I mean? But if we were to consolidate ourselves together, we can do much more than them fringe groups. I'm telling you, with the right perception, we can do a lot more better than some of these little fringe Back to Africa groups that blocking our progress, brethren. They've been giving us information and our perception for the longest of time, for over 30 odd years or so, and they could have avoided the Windrush thing if they were really centered. If they were really centered around developing our communities, informing our communities about important issues like that. And since the Windrush, there should be committees now being formed. What else do we do now? Don't we know? What else? And it would do groups better to begin to find out really what status are some of us here in this country, and see whether we can help each other to build that status, get yourself sorted out, and become an active part of society, you know, and do things like that instead of being on the fringe on the periphery, looking in and complaining, and still taking part of the services. You don't like the country, then get out, brethren. Simple as that. Leave it to other people who can see that they are also the ones who built this country. And I'm not talking about slavery neither. I ain't talking about them coming here and, because the weirdest thing, I don't know if you agree with me, I see it this way. I'm saying to myself, hang on, you got your ass, and I said it before, you heard me say this before. I said, you got your ass kicked, didn't it? You wasn't able to stop the man them from coming and taking your country. You fought, but they was bigger than you, and they were better than you. And get over it, brethren. They were. White as you think that they are, as Caucasoid as you think they are, they were better than you because they kicked your ass. It doesn't matter in which way they kicked your ass. It doesn't matter how tricky they were. You was a fool to fall for it. Is what I'm saying? I looked on the website the other day and I heard this argument was going on there. How they come and tricked us and I said, you're more the fool to be tricked, brethren. What are you trying to tell me? They came to you with all this kind of cunning, you couldn't even see through it, and I refused point blank to believe that. But yet the little fringe group, and I don't, you know what, it doesn't make any difference in any case because they're nowhere. But I'm just saying that if we were like to look at the whole scenario, where we are as a people, we are we're more integrated in any case. So no little fringe group can stop that. All you get is little founders and little leaders yapping their head off about integration, and they're already integrated. And some of them are even got council houses too. How did you get that? Oh, you might see yourself as saying, I'm entitled to this because my ancestors' blood. But yo, brethren, nothing don't go like that. You can have that kind of thing in your mind. You can live that if you like. But you would be of no effect to the system whatsoever. For the last 30 odd years, we have had fringe groups like that, and nothing's happened. So really, they don't even matter, brethren. You turn on your radio every day, you hear these little Back to Africa groups talking yap 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 yap. You must know that they are weak and impotent. I'm telling you. I've discovered that. They don't even matter in the scheme of things. They don't. But you may think they do, but they don't. So the big question is, let me see how much people can tell me why shouldn't we forget about slavery? Why shouldn't we? And why should we even bother about the fact that we were Africans in the first place? What significance has that got in anyway? That's that. Now, the reason why I say this, because I'm trying to find where the minds of the majority of the blacks are, and it's definitely not there. You see, it's definitely not there. The majority of the blacks are not congregating around that. 1.3 million, and you can't find where they are. Do you know why you can't find where they are? Because 1 million of us chose to integrate, and not even the 0.3 something, right? Maybe the ones that might be on the periphery, and always educating us to be negative. But it seems that the majority of blacks have voted with their feet. Go and take a running jump. So really, when you think about it this way, they're trying to get us to march, right? On the march, they managed to influence 1,000 or 2,000 people. Rubbish. 10,000? 100,000. If they could get 100 of them, 1 million to march, they would have won their case, brethren. They would have won their case. They'd get 1 million signatures. They'd have to argue this in Parliament, wouldn't they? But we're not interested. And it's going to be the fact that some of them are going to die trying to get us interested. Yeah. Some of them have been doing it for the last 30 odd years and they're going to die trying. Because it's not going to happen. It's not going to work. It's never going to work. So you know what I decided to do? I decided to look elsewhere, brethren. I'm not going to spend the rest of my life wasting time with little fringe groups. I'm sorry. You know, they managed to catch my attention because they were there, masquerading themselves, upsetting themselves, always in their negative. They even tried to change the word negative to make it acceptable to them. That's how bad it is. They even tried to play with words and try to develop a pseudo-language for you to accept their fallacies, brethren. And that's a kind of a madness. Instead of trying to concentrate their energies on something that will work, they rather follow their ego and fight against the stream. You know, I ask these questions because I want to know if it's not going to be psychologically correct, right? If it's not going to be psychologically correct, then we're talking what? So what are we talking here? You know, is it psychologically correct to forget about the past? Is it correct that we should no longer identify with inferiority? Can you see that as a healing process? I don't know, but I certainly can. And I'll bring the evidence in the week when I'm on my show. But I just want to ask some simple questions today. Don't be too technical. Do you think that it's psychologically correct, one, to deny that you were ever enslaved, and two, to forget and seek closure for it? I said last week on my show, I says, what wound that there is that cannot heal? What physical body wound there is that cannot heal? If there's a mental wound that might qualify for taking longer to heal, but even a mental wound is designed to be healed, brethren. So for the 40 odd years we've been told, because I'll say that, not to heal. But I want to know, those are of that kind of a mindset, can prove to me, show me, without the emotion, brethren, that it's psychologically correct to keep your mind focused on enslavement, to relive it. That's a big question. Numbers are 07931 27 62. Sorry, that's a wrong number. Live calls are on 07440 37 0200. And I repeat, 07440 37 0200. Bring it into the studios. You can also text in on that number as well and give me your opinion. Let me hear it from you. Let me hear if you ever think about this. Have you ever thought about it? Because the question is, supposing, in order, and I think this is correct. Now, I've said this before. If we have to heal our trauma by not referring in our minds to a time when we were enslaved, You're live on Genesis.
Hello?
Yeah, hiya.
Yes, I'm into the conversation. I've been listening. All what you've been saying. Now, I'm not black. I'm an outsider. So, now, it comes to my mind this as well. I've technically told you about what's happened to me technically on one of the shows that I've uploaded to YouTube. I've recorded many of the shows, but I have not much time to upload to YouTube yet. But because it takes a lot. But talking about the problems here, right? There's a lot. I suppose there's a lot of good people in your community that don't have problems and they can get over. But there's a lot of people in your community that also has struggles here in London as we speak. I'll tell you some case scenarios, and I'll tell you, and then I'll get off the phone. Yeah, a black lady falls in love with a Malaysian person, right? She really likes him. She really talks over the internet. She loves him so much. So I love you, darling. No matter what this Malaysian person does, yeah, no matter what he does in Malaysia, he can have a good time with other women. He can do whatever he wants. But this lady, in the end, this black lady, she goes off to Malaysia. He beats her up, and then he takes everything she has from her. And then one day she goes there, and then she's never been reported home again. Everyone's crying in London. Their mom's crying, their dads are crying, and they find out that this lady, when they go to Malaysia, the parents in Malaysia, they sold her off. In Jamaica, yeah, there's another person, another black lady, let's say she's mixed race. She falls in love with this Jamaican Muslim guy. Yeah, he says, all right, darling, don't do this. But then, in the end, she goes over there, and she never gets found again. They sell her off to the garrisons.
They go where? Hold on a minute, Bertrand. Where do they go? We're talking about they go where and get sold off. Where? Are you just using?
Basically, this girl basically like she wants to go. She goes over there. She falls in love with this person.
Goes over where, Bertrand? Sorry, Bertrand. Goes over where?
Jamaica. This is another case scenario.
Is this a real story? Is this a real story, or you just do the scenario?
But I'm saying that there are some cases that have been identified. There are some cases. There's also in London, people get expelled from school. Some of your community children get expelled from school, even the littlest of things. And then where do they go? Some of them are special needed, and there's cutting down of special schools right now. As I speak, they're thinking about cutting special schools to a nil. When all these problems are happening in this country towards your community, and you get all these back to the groups, as you said, and there's a lot of people talking about this as well, yeah, then what 1 + 1 is 2. So now I'm coming to this conclusion that these groups who talk about Africa and Garveytown, this and that, maybe this is not me saying it, but this is them saying it, because I've read up. And they're saying that these groups are not good. They are not good at all. Because if they were interested in the people, their heart, and this is what they're saying. If they were really interested, they would look at the issues in London, and they would look at these issues in London, and then they would try to fix a lot of people now are here, black people, as we speak, getting locked up in mental institutions.
That's right.
One lady, and he's even here. It doesn't matter if it's an English man, this is a Jamaican man, this is a Chinese man she falls in love with. A lot of black women, that's like 24, 25, yeah, they cut themselves because, like, not all of them, but like in special needs, yeah, they start to try to commit suicide because she fall in love with this guy, and this guy's going out with other people in front of her face. And then they take her to institution. What happens? She gets sectioned, a criminal record, and this and that. So there's a lot of, people that are not struggling in your community, but there are some people that are struggling. And some of these people are disabled, and none of these people could not phone up because these groups, and UK gave me this impression. And this is what some people are saying, these Back to Africa groups. I'm not saying this, they're saying this. Some who I read up. there's one complaint. They're saying that these Back to Africa groups are not letting also black disabled people express themselves or nothing. They just talking about Back to Africa, and that's it. You know, many black stations have been shut down. Look at before, like Genesis before, Power Jam I listened to, and they, you know, got locked down. Nobody came out and protest. Hundreds didn't come out and so much protest and say, not in a bad way, are saying we want it back. We want it back. Choice FM was sold off. They sold themselves to white people. Just look at it. Look at it now. You know, no one protested for that. Nobody. Libraries are being closed down. Some of these libraries are black-owned libraries.
Yeah.
That they're closing down.
And nobody protested.
All the information. Look, I'm telling you this, and I'm trying to intertwine this together. In the internet right now, as I speak, they are removing information. Blood.
Yeah.
They are removing information, and they will remove information right now, which people aren't interested. But I'll tell you, the FCC has lost, and the people have won in America. These are black Americans, white Americans. They rallied together and they petitioned together, and thousands upon thousands. And basically, you heard the case now that they have won. And instead of big cable companies monitoring what they do, now they have won. But the FCC wants to re-appeal in December, which is in November, and that is Trump's FCC, Federal, I think, Communications Commission, I think. And they want to try and get big cable companies to think. So the war's not all over yet. And there's so many cases that people are going through right now. Yeah, left homeless, left in your community, regentrification. Yeah, this is the problem we have. And then let me tell you this now, which has really upset me, and it's about my community. We've got a People's Parliament here from my Turkish People's Parliament. They can't even do niche jack for us. There's no issues. They don't deal with issues. They just sit there, have your pay, and sit there. Just like the Back to Africa groups. Our Turkish People's Parliament just sit there and don't even talk.
Yeah.
You know, do niche. Our community, right now, our Turkish community, we're even getting moved out now. Our kebab shops are closing down, so we even having serious issues, and regentrification.
Okay.
You know, and they aren't doing niche.
Really?
Yeah. Yes, really. So, what happens is now, so you know people who are doing really good at this moment, the Asian People's Parliament, the Asian community station. Don't talk about going back to India.
Sure.
The Japanese have done good for their thing. They've now had reparations from the corporations that left off things from to Hirosaki and Nagasaki or Hiroshima. They've got their reparations. The Red Indians, only a few of them got left.
What? Hold on a minute, Bertrand. So we're talking about that. Are we talking about in this country, right? The Asians are well placed because they've got now have a mayor, right? And they've got representation in Parliament. You know the reason why I think they've got that? Because they bought their way through, brethren. Their community spends a whole lot of money in that, like we do, but they buy their politicians, like, and buy the police, buy every damn thing. They contribute to the police fund a lot. You see what I say? So they're very clever. This is why these fringe groups, all they do is try to tell us to be against every damn thing. They don't tell us to be strategic, and that's because they want to create this kind of hostile environment for us so we can leave and go back to Africa. You see what I'm saying to you? They want us to be uncomfortable here.
One person said, and I follow his. I've got that show as well. A caller who came on and said that Africa, you are already a tourist there. And he said that in the Caribbean, at least someone will remember you from that parish, and then they could say, we'll share your name, we can share our name, and they might help you. But even in the Caribbean, they some people. This is not me saying it, by the way. Anybody, folks, this is not me saying it. This is others saying it. And I've listened, I've read up, I've reading up and things, and they are saying that they would even look at your little eyes for, if you're drinking the tea, they'll look at your little eyes for money from you. Yeah? Also, yeah, coming back, yeah, I, at this moment, to refer to me, I would not want to go back to my own country at this moment in time. The things that I'm hearing now, the news that I'm hearing, I'm not bad in my community. I'm Turk to the end, just like there are some people African to the end. But right now, as we speak, a disabled man got beat up in Turkey, and they show it on the camera, blatantly beat up because he's disabled. Yeah, the roads at times, they're not safe. I could get run over. In Turkey, it is hard to live. People living there by liking each other. The same thing in the Caribbean. They living there by, excuse me, not the F word, but the like. Liking each other is a nice word. Basically, they take from each other. They live in these countries. It's not me saying it, but I'm hearing this from others. They're saying that in the Caribbean, they live there by loving each other, which means the F kind of word, each other. They take away from people. And then you are moneyless, or, you know, they look at you, let's say you've got money, you know, they will come to, you know, slowly,
Bertrack, one sec, stick up in Bertrack. The thing is, I really want to know what's the real feeling with the Caribbeans and the Africans, because the Africans must be saying, well, why don't you go and fix up your country, which is Jamaica or the West Indian? We don't know the story about taken 500 years ago, brethren. So the thing, I think they must be thinking, you're bypassing the land of your birth, current birth, that is, and trying to fix our land. Why don't you go back to the Caribbean, and then with a consensus then, because you'll have more numbers, in the Caribbean, the CARICOM, and fix that. You see what I'm saying? It's only a small little place. If you look at it in Jamaica, you can't even see it on the map. You see you see the name. Why don't they organise around that? Go back and fix that up, and show the African. Well, because you don't forget, you know, the Africans, yeah, they don't need it. They don't need no help, brethren. They've got the AU that's worth 120 trillion. What kind of help do you really think that they need? You see what I'm saying to you? We need help more than them in this country. If we decide to stay in this country, then, which our predecessors built this country, we were the first here. This used to be our backyard. I keep saying people don't realize this. We were the first humans. Homo sapiens sapien to inhabit Europe was a Grimaldi man, the first black Grimaldi brethren. So it's not as though, I mean, we weren't fighting for this piece of land. Why not? Why weren't we fighting for this, brethren? Why did we allow it to be taken away from us and don't worry about it, and worry about a piece of landmass 10,000 miles away, or almost 1,000 miles away, that already have an organisation equipped to deal with all of the 54 countries there? They're already organised, brethren. And we're here.
Some people.
Go on. Now go on.
Some people, and I hear this as well, about more interested, because I'm saving myself. Some people, they're Americans. They don't talk about going back to America. They want to live here.
Yeah,
they want to stay here. Some people, because like if you were jobless, for example, you're jobless, you lost your job, you can't get another job. They will even try and give you, you know, money to survive or a scheme to survive. In America, and if your child is disabled, let's say, you know, if you're African or if your child is disabled, you could still get the help. But in Africa, when you're jobless, you are absolutely nothing. You don't work, you don't eat. You
know what? I saw a picture, right, of some African justice, yeah, and I was like shocked. It shocked me. I don't know whose village that was, but they had 4 members there. Obviously, they've done something wrong. I don't know what they've done, but they were lighting them a fire, brethren. I said this last time I was on here, but it's never left my mind to see somebody being lit a fire, brethren. 4 of them poured petrol over, and they lit them a fire, brethren. And I wondered, what the hell did you do so bad that you can bypass the judicial system, the judiciary, bypass the courts, forget about policeman, you get what I'm saying? And just light people a fire, brethren.
Well, let me tell you that. Let me tell you this. Yeah, I know I'm sounding wrong, but if there's that situation, I told you one case scenario, right? Heru, yeah, think about this as a person. If that happened to you, or let's say you have a daughter, and that happened
Wow,
to you,
I'd die, brethren.
your daughter was, God forbid, sold off to other people, and you couldn't find her, but in the end, you investigated, you found the man. Wouldn't you do the same to that man, or would you just take the law into your own hands and mash him up?
And
the police,
yeah,
you know,
of course.
in Jamaica, sometimes they can take bribes and everything.
Well, listen, hang on.
You
See, in Jamaica, it's the same sort of thing, because the police are almost the same sort of way. You know, in certain towns, if you've done something wrong, the police will say, okay, well, you don't want to kill him yet. When did you kill him? Call me. You know what I mean? If he was a gunman or whatever, they expect you the community to deal with their own justice. But we're not used to that kind of thing, brethren. Although, over here in Bermondsey, they used to burn black people because they take it and things like that, light them a fire, light their house a fire, so forth. But we've changed that now. We have changed that. A lot of people say we haven't done anything, but you know what? We've as this is how I say we can do this on many levels, because number one, it's our place in any case. We are the lords of the manor, right?
Yeah.
If you notice the marriage, the wedding the other day, Saturday, I thought, what's happening? There's more black people there than European, brethren.
Yeah, but all they're interested about. Look, I always complain about this. All they're interested about is the wedding of the royal family.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not interested in it. I'm not caring about it. I'm caring about the struggles that, for example, Burchak is going through.
Yeah, but Bertrand, you forget
I'm
one
not
thing.
interested in
Listen. Harry's not a bad chap, because Harry's following his mother. Because I've seen him in a lot of black African countries, and it's not a case of the white man with his hand out. Again, I'm not talking about that. As these black back to Africa groups would quickly rally around and say, but this man, he's blowing kisses after the black children. His mother was doing the same thing, right? He was helping them, hugging them, in the dirt with them. What's he trying to say, brethren? And now he's married a mixed race, right in their face, brethren. Same thing. I saying to myself, you better be careful, because they look like they've got an agenda. I'm still thinking that they're hurting from their mother's death, and I'm thinking they're deliberately doing this, brethren. Why would you go and marry a mixed race? And who's I understand, grandmother is from Jamaica, and it's not even. I tried to Google that, but it wouldn't give me that information. You understand? Her grandparents, what's the name? Megan's grandmother was Jamaican. I understand. I don't know how true that is. Maybe I tried to research it, but it wouldn't give me the information. You understand? So
yeah, but what I'm saying is, it doesn't matter if they're mixed race or not. They're not going to do anything for your people.
I'm not too sure about that.
There's a lot of people that was complaining. They said, vote for Dwayne Brooks. How many people voted for Dwayne Brooks? Nobody. They said that nobody voted for Dwayne Brooks.
Yeah, that's all
there
politics.
There are black mayors right now, and they don't do anything for your community or thing. So how many people voted? There's black mayor for the Green Party. Yeah, I voted for
hold on a minute.
maybe to change.
Hold on a minute. When you say they don't do anything for our communities, we haven't got just a black community anywhere. You understand? There's people, other races mixed in there with the community, brethren. So you make it sound like there's a black community, the only blacks, and they haven't done nothing for that particular community. That don't make an ounce of sense. There's no such community like that. You see what I'm saying?
I'm just reading up on information. I'm not saying this again. I'm saying this. I'm not saying this. They are saying this. I'm just putting the information that I'm seeing or I'm hearing out there. You know, some people, they don't listen to these community stations. Others, they listen to this one only. But I'm just thinking and then putting it out there so that they can comment. But there are many things right now. There are black mayors right now. There are black judges right now. but they're not doing anything for your community.
Hold on.
People
There you go
say
again.
this-
Now, there you go again, Bertrack. I don't understand that term, not doing anything for our community. I don't understand that term.
For the people, I mean, for your people.
Just for our people only? I don't know. Because the impression you're giving me is like, we've got a separate agenda from everybody else's group. You know,
No.
We have different council houses, we have different schools, but we haven't got our own schools. And, you know, and we're at different housing list. I don't know. That's the impression you're giving me by saying they ain't doing nothing specifically for our black community. This is what some of these Back to Africa leaders use to manipulate our emotion, brethren, and to muddy the waters. You see what I'm saying? Muddy the waters like that. You know? So I don't understand. When you can show me where we've got our own housing list, or we live in a community on our own, and there's no other race, and you're saying that they're picking us out of the many races, they're picking us out. It don't make an ounce of sense to me. I can't go with that because it don't make. So when you say they ain't doing nothing for our communities, I don't know if you can. I don't know. It don't sound good. I mean, if you got somebody in Parliament, they're going to be for the black communities only. Can there be such a situation?
You know what? Some people, I'm not going to say no names. They do talk about history. Yeah, and I always say, I talk about current history. Now, the platform that you're also talking about, they've learned from Genesis, and now they developed. Now, when there was a sister that was lost, they quickly got into the lines and they said that there's a sister lost. Can you please find her, and can you please, know where she is, so that we can help and help get her home. And for the first time when I was listening to them, I'm not going to mention the name, but you probably know. And then this was in 2013. Then they had a doctor there who talks about health and wealth, and this is very good because it talks about the bowels, the things. Also, when I went to a shop, and this shop was called Alkaline Green, when I had the natural juice, and when I had the juice, I really felt it was very, very good. But I didn't say to the lady, "Oh, this is very good, this is very good." But the price is £5. I did pay, and I did get. I was she gave me for £2.50, so I didn't have enough with me. But the original price is £5. But what I'm saying is that £5 is still a lot of money. But she was black, she cuts the kiwis and everything, and she dilutes, she doesn't dilute, she just liquidizes, gives the thing, and then I just drank it, and it was natural to me, and it was very good. Whereas people in supermarkets, they buy it for cheaper, but all those things that they put in the juices, I mean, there's many issues that are talking about now. I go on the bus, and I see thousands of some black children, they go quickly into the Kentucky Fried Chicken shops or the Things shops. There are some people who some black people who are trying to open up a natural jerk chicken place. No oil, no nothing, just natural.
Yeah, but the thing about that is,
but they're not successful.
No, you know why? Youths can go to a chicken shop and pay £3.99 or £2.99 for what they.
It's not natural chicken.
Yeah, no. This is what I'm saying. They can go to the other chicken shops and pay £2.99, but you can't go to a West Indian shop anywhere and buy a $2.99 or $3.99 box. I heard that somebody told me yesterday that there was one somewhere about the place, but when I go to a West Indian shop, it's £7.50 for dinner, brethren. Right? How much for a bag of flour? How much for rice? Why are you charging £7.50? Right? And
yeah, but
you know what I mean?
So also they charge £5 for the drink, natural drink. If it was natural drink, £5.
You see what I'm saying to you? So they can't ask and complain why we are going to the chicken shops, because they're not prepared to lower their prices, brethren. And yet we've been hijacked because we've been told to go and buy black and be black and this black and to hell with the rest. But you got to be rich to buy black. You got to be very rich because they're going to charge you, because they're thinking about profit, which is not wrong, because you're in a a profit-driven society. Fine, there's nothing wrong with thinking about profit. But the Kentucky Chicken Company are very smart. They just get a little bit of pennies, you know, and they say, oh, let's pay $3.99, $2.99 for a meal of whatever it is. I don't even know if it's even chicken, brethren, but you know what I mean. But they've got it locked because most fights with the youth them and stabbings happen around chicken shops, innit? Or burger shops and them thing there. When they, you know, so when they're going to buy the gangs gather around outside the chicken shop. I don't, you know what I mean? That's where the fight starts. You see what I mean? So you don't have to give them any home meal anymore because by the time they get home, they don't want nothing to eat, brethren.
And it's similar. Look, the people say, why are you talking about black issues, Turkish issue? And I'm complaining the thing to the Turkish issue. It's similar with us as well. That's why I refer it and say similar with us. Now you're going to laugh at this. In Germany, there are many Turks, right? The kebab places, they had phosphate to keep the kebab nice. Phosphate. You know what that will do to your stomach, right? Like years ago, the doner kebab used to taste better. The meat was better. The thing. Now the meat doesn't taste as good, and with the phosphate. Lots of Turks go to these doner kebab places, and basically the Turkish People's Parliament, they're sitting down. They don't do niche for their community, our community. And what's happened is in Germany, you know what happened? They said that we're gonna try to vote for taking out phosphates of the kebab, or vote for keeping phosphates in the kebab. Guess what happened? Yeah, there's millions of Turks in Germany, and there's a lot of Turks in here. You know what they did vote? You know what? They didn't vote for anything, so they just kept the phosphates in because they didn't want the vote to take out the phosphates out of the kebab. And our people are so dumbed down that we didn't even rise up and say, hold on a minute, yeah, these kebab places are cheap. Yeah, but they can't cook it in their own home. They can't. Some Turks can't cook the doner kebab in their home.
So,
and the foods that they put. See? So this is what I'm saying. If you go to a natural restaurant, a good restaurant, they're gonna charge you a lot of money.
All right, but it is. That's why the question should be asked, not or said. What they ain't doing. Politicians don't do nothing for our black community, but that's rubbish. It is the black people that's supposed to be doing something for their community, right? And they ain't pimping off of us, right? And we've been educated. Go and buy black, right? Where it costs you an arm and a leg. And we shouldn't worry about where the money's going, whether these people are going to put the money back into the community or back into their pocket, brethren. You see what I'm saying? So it's all good and well telling us to go and buy black and this, that, while they're cutting our throats. Now, straight away, there should be black business. No, let me tell you this quickly. I go to a patty shop in Brixton, yeah? I ain't going to call the name because that'd be unfair. And it's £1.60 for a patty, brethren. £1.60. I had to buy a patty for 50p, brethren. At one point. And you know what I mean? 80 pence, 60 pence. Now they decide, oh well, bollocks with this. Let's put £1.60 for a patty. You might as well sell £2. So if you're gonna buy 2 patty, that's over £3 for two patty. And it's not even with chips, brethren. So when they're selling Kentucky chicken for $2.99, $3.99, they can buy that by the score. You give your child £5, yeah, sort you out.
But the price is increasing because of the capitalist system. They're saying, look, I'm just referring to my community because people want to hear this. They're saying, why is he talking about black shoes? The Turkish community is similar. Yeah, I've gone to the kebab shop and guess what the burger costed? Like the burger and the fish and chips cost $4.60, which is a lot. And you don't even get natural, like they put it in the oil. Yeah, the fish and chips. And the thing is, nobody of our Turkish community are complaining. Some people, they cannot have great parents to cook in their house.
Yeah,
and it's happening to our community left, right and centre.
Yeah, but
they're regenerating our kebab places right now.
Yeah, but
so it's happening. It's only the Asians that are dominating and the Jews that are dominating. They're taking over Turkish places too.
Listen. If you go to your country, then since you're talking about it, according to what I've read, that you lot are oppressing the Kurds. Is that right?
No, we're
that's
not.
that's what I
No.
understand. That's what they
I
were
tell you.
saying. So you're pressing these Kurds and thing, but then the Kurds are being backed up. I think it was that's the reason why World War started anyway with these other. No, that's why Saddam got killed because he was supposed to be killing the Kurds. Is that right? Is it Kurds? Is that
No,
the right name?
I'll tell you what.
Is that the right name for them
quick
though? Is that the right
story.
name? Kurds? Is it Kurds? Kurdish people? Kurdish?
Yes. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
I'll tell you in quick thing what's happening. And I'm a Turkish person. Yeah. And I'll tell you quickly. Now, there's a terrorist group right now called the PKK. It's a rebel terrorist group, right? They've been funded by other nations and other to go and kill our soldiers. They want half of Turkey independent. Yeah. And what's happened is, for example, look, the same thing with Spain right now. They're saying that they oppressing the Basque. You know, the Basque
yes,
people,
yeah.
which is not which are like the Kurds.
Yeah,
as well.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're not. They're not oppressing.
The Basque,
Yeah.
the Basque
right
people.
now,
Yeah?
Kurdish people. Right now, yeah, like what I've seen, the Kurdish people have got equal rights now to sing Kurdish, to sing Kurdish songs, to sing this and that. They got equal rights now as the Turkish people have, and even more rights than the Turkish people now. You understand what I'm saying? But there's some people that want to mess it up and put that in the news so that they can go into Turkey and mash up Turkey and have different lands and half Turkey. No other ethnic race is going up and saying, no other ethnic race is fighting is doing this except the Kurds.
But-
and it's a long story.
I
It's
know,
a
I know.
long
But isn't it a
history.
fact that a couple months ago Turkish launched an offensive against the Turks, against the Kurds, blowing, killing people. And all that.
No. Hold on. In Syria, what it was you heard about America funding the PYD terror group, right? They go in and mashing up Syrians. They go in and mashing. You know the ISIS and the PYD. Yeah. Basically, they want to go into Turkey and want to go in and ambush our soldiers. Our
Yeah.
government had enough of this. Yeah, of enough of so much blood being thing against our soldiers, our citizens, our things going off, bombs going and everything. So we said, all right, we're gonna go into Syria, not to take over, which some people are trying to say that. But what they did was they gone into Syria, and basically they seen with the thing help the Russians, but Turkey, instead of them keeping innocent civilians hostage, innocent Turkmens, innocent Syrians hostage, what happened was the Turkish soldiers went in and cleared the hostage situation, clearing the mines, and now they're trying to rebuild Syria back. And they went into Afrin, they went to all these places, and they basically kept out the PYD terror group, which is also a danger to Turkey because they built tunnels and everything by the help of the Americans to go and blow up our cities and to go and destroy and make Turkey, a civil war. And you know what's happened. And that is why our great president had said that enough is enough. We've seen enough bloodshed. Our soldiers come home in bloodshed, and we've not done nothing against the Kurds. All of these things that is happening right now is basically Europe is trying to, how do you say it's trying to pump up the blood so that the Kurds can get. But when the Kurds, they said, if, God forbid, if they split up, the Kurds are going to be on their own. And this is what I'm saying is that no other ethnic group right now the Kurds have more rights than Turks. Have I seen the people explaining to me, even the taxi drivers in Turkey explaining to me and what he's seen and what he has seen. Even the Kurdish taxi driver is saying the same thing. So right now, there are some people who's trying to fuel the blood and trying to pump up false news so that then they can say, the Turks are doing this, Turks are doing that, and then they can be a fuel hate against Turkish people, which they're already doing on the news, which they're already showing news that is so bad. You see on camera a soldier getting shot, on camera. You see soldiers, and I'm sick and tired of hearing these kind of things. So there's agents amongst our Turkish community, agents that are trying to say, they're doing this to the Kurds, they're hurting them, they're doing this to... No, we're not.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I mean? There's also Kurds that are being oppressed by this terror group, the PYD, the PKK, or whatever their name is, they change. And you know what? America's been caught helping them with money. The PYD, so that they can go in, they can destroy our cities, they can destroy our thing. And right now, that's why Turkey said enough is enough. And we went into Syria, we cleared all that mess, and then we're building them, and we're getting these Syrian kids to school and everything. Right now, there's a lot of Syrians in our Turkey, and we're trying to look after them. And the government is doing a lot of good things, doing very good things. So we're not oppressing the Kurds. It's just like, for example, look, England, they had the same problem where the Cornwall tried to break away. You know what the government said? They said no. You know, only 3 people voted. But do you think the soldiers would let Cornwall break away? If a lot of Cornish people said, no, we want our own language, we want our this, we want our that. You know, we don't have to study Cornish in school, we need to study.
Well, it's the same as Ireland, though, isn't it?
Do you know what would happen?
Yeah.
The soldiers would not let that happen. They will go in with every full force they can. You know what the English government's like. They will go in with full force and they will take that city down. They will go in and they will not leave one place unstoned.
Well, it's the same as Ireland. It's the same as Ireland. Ireland don't want to be ruled by Britain. You see what I'm saying? So they see themselves as separate, even though
Ireland is different. Ireland
Why?
is different. I don't want to get into Ireland was their own land. It's like somebody coming into your house, making a garden, and saying, "Oh, this is my house." So that is different. South Africa is different. Ireland is different. It's like Ireland had their own country, right? But someone goes into your garden and says, "This is my back garden now. Get out."
Well, let me tell you something. Hold on. Let me tell you something. Yeah, this planet don't belong to any one group. If the groups that are fighting for land, if they're strong enough, they can say this plot of this earth is mine. They can hold that out. You can say anything. Nobody owns anything because when they die, they can't take it with them. So they leave it for the descendants, but the descendants got to be strong enough and powerful enough to maintain that this is mine. I don't know where to get it from. How can it be yours? Like we say, African blacks, Africa is for the blacks. By what virtue? By what? Being in there for thousands and millions of... It doesn't make it theirs. Britain can't say, this is ours, because by what virtue? Is it yours? Did you create? Did you make it?
Before,
you know what I mean? Did they make it? They came and saw it there, and they said, "Okay, I'm going to conquer this part." Africa's the same thing. When we went about spreading from one centre, wherever we go, this is ours. This is ours. This is ours. Because no one else was there to contest it, brethren. So humans will do this to each other. This claim, any human group can make any claim. But you have to be able to keep it, innit?
Well, before I go, I'm just going to say this. Yeah, if you have these news about the Spanish oppressing the Baskians, and if you have these false news about Turkish oppressing the Kurds, it is absolutely false.
Yeah, but it's not my view. Yeah, no. Hold on, Bertrand. I didn't say that was the case. No. I said I heard. I only reiterating to you what's been said. It's not my opinion.
No, I'm just saying.
I haven't got no views.
I
haven't got no views on that, brethren, because I'm only.
No. I'm saying the news or whatever.
The news. Not me though.
That you heard from.
Yeah, I just listen. I just listening to what people are saying, brethren. I don't have an opinion on it.
Yeah.
I don't have an opinion. You know what I mean?
That is why one day. I mean, that is why I just saying I'm not upset with you, brother. You know, me and you are having a conversation. Yeah. We and you have a good conversation. That's why I phoned. But at least I cleaned up my own backyard because they sit.
Yeah, I heard it from you,
which is good. Of the Turkish community. We want to hear who's right and who's wrong.
Hold on a minute. This is why I say it was good, because I heard it from you. You're the only one. I can't talk on Turkish and Kurdish things. You can. So I was glad to hear you explain it, which was good. I heard it, now you're pointing all the things out, which I meant to ask you from a long time anyway, from the first time that Surya business. I was going to ask you to explain the situation, because if anyone can explain it, it's you, brethren. You see what I'm saying to you?
Exactly. And America has been doing this for a long time. They have been funding these this terrorist group to go and mash up, and they're also making false news about, Kurds are being oppressed and different races, ethnic races are being oppressed. They've been making lying news to about on these main channels that America's got.
Yeah.
They've been making lying news to about Turkish, oppressing, different races, which the Turkish are not. And the president basically came out and he said that all these people were making lying news, and basically he did it very well and he defended very well. And look at what he's doing now for the whole of the community. He's looking after his people. He's looking after the whole ethnic race. He's trying to sort out the problems now, which he's gone into Syria, and he basically cleared all those people that were oppressing the PKK Kurdish terrorist group, which they're oppressing their own Kurdish people. They're oppressing the Syrians. They went, and the PYD as well, which foreign people are fighting. And basically, they got caught red-handed, America, making lies about Turkey so that they want to go into Turkey. And basically, you know why they're saying all these things? Because they want to take the minerals from Turkey. Turkey's now got a new mineral. And basically, it's a new mineral that they want to go in there and take that new mineral. England as well, France as well. They want to take that new mineral route. Right now, petrol and gas, they're not taking, because that's going now. There's cars now that they're going to think that's run on sunlight energy, but Turkey's mineral is important. Now, to make Turkey's economy better, to make all the people of Turkey happy, he's doing the best he can. But there are outside forces who are trying to do everything they can to destroy our country.
Okay.
And that's why I love my president. Anyway,
Yeah,
I
man.
have to leave
Enough
in peace
respect.
because
Yeah, man.
at least I've explained.
Yeah, man. This is good.
For people who can understand, they can
Yes.
understand. People who don't understand, I still disagree. I will, do. But for my players and haters, I'm out of peace.
All right,
Bye.
respect. All right, yeah, thank you for that, Bertrand. That's what I mean. At least he explained. I didn't know nothing about Turkish and Kurds and all them kind of things till now, so he's able to explain that, which is very good. So thank you for that, Bertrand. Which is that's what I'm talking about. You know about something, then will you explain it? And sometimes we overshoot the runway and over egg the pudding. We don't see trees for the woods because we're narrowly thinking about life in terms of possession. We don't want to accept the fact that this earth, and I repeat, this earth doesn't belong to any one group, because no group has made this earth. You see what I'm saying to you? They have not. And so when they go around saying that this is theirs and this is, if you're going to use that as a fact, it's not a fact. Africa is what she is because it was inhabited by one particular group for a very long time. Fine, if you want to say that what makes it yours and nobody else's, that's like, you're not really looking at the thing, brethren. That's looking at things emotionally. But in actual fact, when we start to get borders and blocking off pieces of the earth that belongs to everybody, right? And this is why they don't. All right, you have the Boers in Africa, and you have the what's going on in Zimbabwe now, and taking back the land from people who took it in the first place. But we're going to be toing and froing like that for a very long time, Look what's happening to England now. Somebody's going to come and take England over, because you know why that is. I'm using this on my show all the time when I do this my show on the organic frame of reference tree of life and the laws that govern our existence. The reason why I do that is to show that I'm running more like that now, rather than this idea of one particular group owning one place. Because the tree of life told me that it don't go, sir. Right? It's like it says that the law says, as you sow, you will reap. So whenever we sow and say this is mine, 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 and at the same time taking other people over, then somebody's going to come and take you over. It happens to human beings all the time. Imperialism. They go somewhere and they want to conquer somebody. It's not just one group that does that. Another group may do it humanely, while one group doesn't give two hoots about humans. They go and take it in anyway. That is the nature of the beast. So it will make it worse when we start to entrench ourselves in this kind of ideology. Once you know the tree of life, you won't entrench yourself with this ideology. So there you have it. So numbers are 07440 370 200. And I repeat, 07440 370-200 is the number. You can call in live, or you can text in on the number and have your opinion. So far, we were talking there with Bird Track about a lot of things, and remember, there's no specific topic today. I just asked the question: should we or should we not forget about slavery and forget about all the trauma, forget about what happened in the past, and just create a new one, a new situation? Is it that this constantly harping on the past, does it create a problem for us in the future? I read something to you a couple weeks ago, something that somebody supposedly discovered, but I've already known about this thing in the Medunetta. I'm talking about the past, present and future being simultaneously happening. You know what I mean? There is no past, no present, no future, and I was already, the Metanuta already speaks about that. You see? So it was saying that if I project, you're live on Genesis.
Hello, Heru.
Yeah.
Is this like a temporary number or something?
No. This is a number now, new number. Live calls on this number now, and the other number is for texting, but we haven't sorted that out yet.
It's for texting. The other number.
Yeah, it's not at the moment, but I would call or text on this said number. What you call on now, you can do both on this one until we get the other one sorted out. The old number is still alive, but at the moment the phone ain't even working on that number, so we're dealing with what we got here right now. See what I'm saying? Yeah. So
right.
you got the right number.
Well, hang on, let me get that right. I just rang it. It's 07440.
That's right.
3 something. What is it?
No, 37.
Yeah.
02.
0.
And then 00 at the end. So that's 074. Yeah. Listen. 07440. Then you got 37.
Yeah.
Then you got 02. Then you got 00.
I've got what?
02. After the 7 is 02. And then you got 00, and that's it. 00 at the end.
Right, that's why I rang. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting conversation. Interesting afternoon. Just an interesting time. We live in interesting times. I'm just thinking where I should start, but I've got a kind of list of stuff. But we can recap. So that we can clarify certain issues. I think I was speaking to you during your daily show last year, around about this time, maybe a month, give it a take a month. And at the time, I was talking about certain subjects, and I threw down a challenge, did I not? Can you remind the people what that challenge was?
About the feminist thing, wasn't it, with the other station, right?
Okay, and
which I noticed that you're on, that you was on the other day. I don't know how they let you back on there, and you was on it the other today, brethren. I don't know
the feminist thing?
No, the station. I don't know how they let you back on there, brethren. I thought they banned you.
Oh, you heard me. Yeah. I can I can guess why. You know what I mean? It's nothing more. It's not boasting. I don't give a. I don't. There's bigger thing. Listen, there are historians out there, or fake historians, who are commissioned and are given a load of money to put documentaries on BBC. I don't get that. I will not get that. This is not about a poxy radio station or people who gather around the fire station to hear this and will never have the bravery to go on live radio station. And when I say live, mainstream. I've done my battling. I'm done with it. Yeah. I'm not fighting for nobody who don't want to fight for themselves. So that's that. But I just wanted to clarify something. Just make sure that everybody know that last year I threw down the gauntlet on 2 subject matters, and I want you to highlight the 2 subject matters, if you might feel free to do so. What were they?
Well, I can't remember one.
I gave them a month.
Yeah, to feminism, but I only remember the feminism one. I don't know where the other one. Well, you challenged one of the presenters down there.
The concept of white supremacy.
Okay.
That's been deviling black people for a long time. But I was quite... Come on, man. You know now. You're supposed to say, yeah, I remember now. Say it.
I remember. That's what I said. I remember, yeah.
Oh, you remember now?
Yeah.
Okay. So that was last year, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think I just made it up right there, or do you think I did some research
to
back myself on those subjects?
No, you've been on banging the drum for a while. I understand. I know that.
Yeah, all right. I'm not going to put you on the spot because it ain't about me trying to play. Oh, you think she's all that? I've got nothing to say to you, bro. You know what I mean? You give me the respect to come on air. So I'm trying to find something. Because I often take cabs here and there. And maybe someone will say, well, boy, well, you know. There are... All right, I'm going to ask you a question, and I'm not going to go deep. I'm not even going to go into nobody else's stuff. In terms of Islam, how many denominations of Islam have you heard of? Do you know?
Well, as I said, the denominations, like different fractions of the one group, though, aren't they? They got the what's the other one? The radicals, and they got the other fraction of the same thing.
No.
They're not different groups.
I'll help you.
Go on, then.
You got the Shia.
Yeah.
You got the Sunni.
Well, aren't they Islam?
Do you know of any others?
No, I can't think of anything right off. I know there are a few others.
So you don't. You've heard of the Wahhabis, right?
Not that, but I heard of another one that goes around in a circle on a thingy, but I forgot what they're called. There's quite a bit.
The Wahhabis control Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
They are originally, the House of Saud is Jewish. That's why they always side with Israel.
Okay.
Look into it. Don't fight me down. Don't even waste time. Look into it, right?
Yo, I ain't fighting you down, brethren. I'm not fighting you down. I'm letting you talk.
Yeah. I mean, I don't people. I know. Because everything I say that they don't know of and they've never read about, they're gonna fight it down and say, "Here he goes again." You know what I mean? I do the work, you do the talking. Some people do the walking. I don't care. You know what I mean? But there's another denomination, so I ain't gonna mention that because let somebody else tell you if they're willing to do the searching and research to find out where they live and who lives amongst them. You must know where you live. And it's funny because the Windrush thing came up the other day, right? And I was like, well, what do you remember? All of a sudden, you've got a lot of people who've been for the longest time on these community radio stations hating England and telling everybody about their everything else but English. And in a hot week, people are confessing to say, I was born here, I'm English. I'm like, but you've been pushing something different.
Yeah, hold on.
Years.
Can I interject something? That's exactly what I said, didn't it?
Okay.
I said to you, remember it first come, I said, but it's
not to me.
No, well,
I don't speak to you about it.
On the program, if you listen, I said last week, I just want to clarify this. I said a couple of weeks back, I said, these people that were talking about getting out of the country, They nearly crapping their pants when they're told they're going to be deported. but I'm saying to myself, but you not talking about getting out.
Hilarious.
Hey, you got a free ticket out of Babylon. I said, you got a free ticket out of Babylon. And you're crying.
Brother, I hear what you're saying, but if you had a memory, anybody had a memory and trace these people down for the Kwanzaa celebration and all the crap that they've been poisoning the youth them with.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, a flip of a coin in 24 hours.
They're all
I
British.
was like, what? I was like, nah, you didn't say that, did you? I was like, damn. But, you know, I don't care. That's your business. You do that, right? Some people of your own crowd will realize that's not what you were saying for the longest time. You know what I mean? And I'm not even going to beat them down about it because a fool will do foolish things. You know what I mean? It's as simple as that. But I will put the argument out there again. I'm not going to hold anybody for, you know, by 12 o'clock, we're going to sundown, we're going to shoot it out, either feminism or white supremacy or nothing.
Reese,
they had
just one
a long time to have that debate with me, and I would deal with
Sorry,
it.
I'm going to interject here, Reese. I'm going to interject here because you know what? I'm going to clarify that properly. You know what they said? You know what the wording was? All of a sudden, the Windrush not gone nowhere. But the first, that's what it says. That's what they say now. That a big poster going on place. The Windrush ain't going anywhere. So I have a U-turn from get out of the country, go back to Africa. All of a sudden, we ain't
No.
We ain't going nowhere.
Many years ago, I said, boy, you will know when I say what I say, how long ago I said it. I said, you and the BNP have the same policy. They want to pay you to go out of the country if you want to. Not forced. If you want to, they'll pay you. And I was talking and saying, well, that's a deal. Why not go? If that's how you feel. If you're a son of the soil, which I am, then I defend my country.
That's right.
Which I know. I know no other country.
Yes.
Now, some people say, oh, you're a sellout.
That's right.
And if you mention Uncle Tom, I'll slap you with my phone wherever you are. Read the damn book. Read the book. Read the book. It's going to tell you something you never knew. The Hollywood who makes the movie are hiding from you. How many times do I have to tell you that? Read it.
Oh, dear.
This is a joke. It takes a white woman to put it to your face. And the feminist thing, I'm not even going to argue about that. Because you know they're cowards and liars anyway. Professor Jordan Peterson has beaten down the best of them.
Yeah.
Beaten down the best of them. Have I not been speaking before Professor Jordan Peterson hit the headlines in this country?
Yes, but the thing about it, Reese, we got people that say that they're liberators are actually warming towards feminism now, right? And they're trying. The same one who claim that they're black back to Africa liberators are also warming towards homosexuality now, bringing them in your face, brethren.
Bruh, look.
You see what's happening here? You see?
Look. You've got the Sister Oracle. They call her Sister Oracle. She's on the show on Galaxy. I had no problem in mentioning it because she is a part of Galaxy. She's into this kind of like gender fluidism nonsense.
What does that mean?
Now,
what does that mean?
I personally, under my
what does it mean though? What does it mean?
Tenure of any organization, you're not going to come in there and come in there rubbish.
But what
you can explain yourself.
Yeah, but what does gender fluid means? What does it mean? Do you know?
Oh Lord have mercy. Okay. There. All right. There is a concept, a theory, that has been espoused by the Marxists, and the Marxists have, if you read Karl Marx and his Communist Manifesto, he wants to turn the reality that we understood to be facts derived from the period of the Enlightenment episode that took part in the West. I say it started from Martin Luther. You can go online and they will tell you it started from the 1700s. I will tell you, how could that be? Now that's me telling you, me, black boy, telling you, they're wrong. And they're definitely wrong. Do you hear what I said?
Yeah.
You go online and you read a book and anybody telling you it started from the 1700s, they're wrong. I'm telling you it started in the 16s. No, sorry. Yeah, 16s. Martin Luther started it. You had Martin Luther saying something and the internet of the day got viral, called the Gutenberg Press. That's the creation of it all, the start of it all. Christianity. I don't care whether you like it or not, but the Lord works in mysterious ways. That's when it started. And I'll tell you when it ended. In reality, it ended early 20th century. Early 20th century. At that point, everything is set and in place. You know about your biology. You know that you could be manipulated by outside forces. You know about technology. You know about machinery. You know about engineering to its maximum. You can only improve on it. All you've got now in the 21st century are add-ons, i.e. computerized and you know, apps and whatnot and things like that. You're never going to get another motorbike made. You're never going to get another car made. The concept of a camera has already been made. The concept of film has already been made. Think of all the major developments. It's done. You're only going to get improvements of it. I'm telling you this. Your professors are being educated by who? Little black boy, they didn't want to give an education. Anybody that you're talking to right now will say, fuck, he's right.
Hey,
Why?
Reese, remember Sunday, and people, youths are listening, yeah? We don't want to be too...
Well, call me Dennis Rowe. He swears when he wants.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, not on my show. You won't play.
By the way,
yeah.
I wish Dennis Rowe would play one of them tapes when I'm on it.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what.
I wish he would play one of them tapes when I'm on it. I was really loving the Saxon. I was at that dance, bro. I was at that dance. He only played one side.
I want to ask you anyway. I'm going to send you some music. I want you to do some DJing, brethren. Because
me?
Yeah, you. Because I hear you're tough on it. I heard you do.
I'll tear it up, mate.
What? No, I know you.
Tear it up.
I heard you already, and I know you're bloody good, brethren.
Yeah. But I kind of like was in the waters at the time, and I put my lyrics because I was in the waters.
Bad, man.
But if I bury that tune right, I'm
going to send you some. You that your number there on the phone?
Sorry?
Is your number? This number is your number, right? Did you use it? Can I use that?
Yeah.
To contact you.
Well, you know, I'm not looking for him. I do what I do, you know what I mean? And that's a part of my history that made me who I was, and therefore, whatever. Whatever, I don't, you know what I mean? It is what it was, you know what I mean? I was a kid, you know what I mean? And I was doing my thing, you know what I mean? But I you know, this is to the tape, right, mate? I was at that dance, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was at that dance, yeah, for real, you know what I mean?
Well, I'll tell you this, mate.
Anyway,
when Dennis is on, you can come and swear as much as you like, brethren. Because that's his thing, not mine.
No. I slipped. I just got impassioned. But I mean, if someone's going to pull me up about it, I'm just going to say, call me Dennis Rowe. Because Dennis Rowe say, I don't care. He will just swear. He don't care. And Dr. X will swear and don't care. You know what I mean? And if there's rules, then there's got to be rules. And everybody has to deal with that. This idea that I'm on... anyway, I don't care. You know what I mean? I do. So, you know, in fairness... remind me and say, please stick to your own standards. Please, don't lower yourself to, or if it's called lowering yourself to others, I get that. You know what I mean? So, first of all, I'm not interested in having a debate about white supremacy because you understand. A year ago, I put it out there. Oh, I had all my papers, I had my book papers, I had to spread ready, and nobody for the whole damn month. Feminism. That's too easy now. That's far too easy. And the illusion,
Lesbianism as well.
Illusion
Let's say
of the
say
inaccuracy of wage structure. Patriarchy won't pay women the same money. Jeez, how many times has Jordan Peterson have to smash that down?
But hear this now. I want to say, I want to mention it as well. Lesbianism, because I've always associated feminism with lesbianism. And at the end of the day, when is it that Black to Africa groups are becoming more, let's say, homosexual friendly, brethren, that they would have people like that in their organisation, brethren, preaching to us? And their excuse is, oh, it's all around us, so we've all got to do it because it's all around us. Let's all join in then, We've got to accept it. Something is not right there, brethren.
Well, there's certain things you have to understand. The human family loves the human family. And the human family loves the exotic or different. Believe it or not, if you was living in an African country yourself and never met a white person and a white female happened to turn up, you might find her exotic coming from Europe. And because she's not got 3 legs and is a human being, and you're showing her where to eat and where to feed and how to blah, 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 you might find a relationship beyond the relationship of instruction. And you might think, whatever. And you may be in a situation where it's just you and her. I'm not the bedroom police. What I do know is Chinese people generally make love to Chinese people and make Chinese babies. And they love it so much they're the biggest population. Then Indians, East Indians if you will, they do the same. But when you've got the decadency and a corrupted society as you have in the West by certain people giving all these stupid ideas, all stemming from Marxism. I would really, if ever you give me the opportunity, I will really and tell you, and I'll go right step by step, Hansel and Gretel step, and I will make everybody realize, everybody listening, realize what fools they have been. So much fools they have been, how duped they have been. Labour is not your friend. The Labour government is not your friend. Every Labour council has been ripping you off.
All right.
Pointing the finger.
Don't want to go there, so. All right.
Yeah,
don't want to go there, so, because we're going to reserve a time for that. We did say that. So I'm still looking at.
Sorry?
I remember we're going to reserve a time to discuss the politics. We did say that. So I think we don't want to touch it now. What I want you to do, because I'm still thinking about Thursday. I'm still thinking about Thursday. We can have a section for politics, brethren, because we have to engage in that. You understand me? I say so you can talk about that all long. But what I wanted you to do now, right, is to wrap up, is to tighten up, finish up now, so we can get someone else in as we go along. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, to you, because I'm not pulling cards, but just. It is Red Track was on for a long while.
Yeah,
right?
you're equally on the same time as him.
Is there a question that you put out? I mean, I may not have addressed it and spoke about what I wanted to speak about. Is there a question that you put out for the public that I may engage in and leave? Just,
okay. The question is, okay, the question is this, yeah? Should we forget about slavery, brethren? And for psychological and physiological reasons, or is it good that we continually have it ever before our face? Because no one's psychologically proved that is a. If we want to heal, because we suffer from post-traumatic slave syndrome, right? If we suffer from something, surely we'd want to heal it, right? We can't go around with something that is psychologically damaged. So, in the interest of healing. Is it that we or to forget about slavery to give it its finite point, or do we continually reliving the event in our sick state? Will that help us to heal, brethren?
Let me address this because this whole reparations argument, I've said already, I think we've had this conversation before, you know what I mean? And I think it's being fought very badly, and that's one of the reasons why I got banned from Galaxy in the first place. New ideas, or good ideas, they don't like. They have the heroes and they support them. I am not going to support something just because it's my colour or whatever. That doesn't work for me. First of all, you have to understand slavery is a part of the human condition. What do I mean by that? First of all, slavery has always happened as a part of not killing you. We had a fight. My army beat yours. Do we want to have another day of chopping off heads and limbs and shit? We're sick of this, and at the end of the day, we feel bad about what we did. Because really and truly, it was only 17. And Brutus chopped him in pieces, and he was crying and peeing himself, and his sister was begging right over there, and he could actually, you know, plough the field. And what they're going to do with, now that he's gone, they're going to rape his sister and kill his sister. At some point, the killing has to stop. And so some sense of man's morality emerges from the bloodfest. So slavery is introduced, because I don't want you coming back. And they did do that in Western, can I say Western? I think it's universal, actually. But if we would go by the Romans, they would enslave you. And not only would they enslave you, sometimes, depends on how threatening you were and what you did on your traverses against their army, they would make you a gladiator and feed you to the lions, or whatever the case may be a gladiator. We all know about Spartacus. But what they don't tell you, that slavery wasn't a forever thing. And I wish people wouldn't quote the Bible and talk about slavery and say that's got something to do with Christianity. It's got nothing to do with Christianity. That's number one. If you're talking about the first 5 books of the Bible, that's nothing to do with Christianity. Can we get an echo from you?
Yeah. Go on.
Right. So it's nothing to do with Christianity. The fact of the matter is, there was no Penton Bill in many places. Nobody had big places to put people. So you would enslave them, and pay a penance. You had sex with an underage or unwillingly a woman of our tribe. Rather than we shoot some poison darts and start killing a load of people, we want justice. And we should hand the man over. And that man has to be handed over, and would be handed over. Because they don't want the trouble. It's worth killing a lot of people over one time that we warned in the first place. So the first thing, when you mention slavery, you have to put a title to it. Slavery has always happened. It was never color-coded. That happened in the 15th century when the Jews went out of Spain and went to the New World and established Hispaniola and Portugal, Brazil, and they brought the slaves, and they color-coded it. Jews color-coded it. It was never, ever a profit-making business until Jews came into it. Now, some people say, you can't call all Jews. Well, the old joke is what the Romans did for us. People say, well, the Egyptians made the pyramids. Well, I can't say the Jews did what they did. I've got books.
All right, now.
And when they made that Hollywood movie about the Pirates of the Caribbean, I actually got the book. Okay. Jewish Pirates of the Caribbean, written by a Jew. And if I got that book and read what he said, you would have to tell me, is he stating a fact or is he boasting about what they did?
Okay, bring into the psychological region now. The reason is it? Do we keep it do we keep reliving it? Is there any closure to this? Because it's never been mentioned.
Yes, of course there is. There's always closure. But first of all, if you live in this country, stop beating down this country like it's a bitch. Stop beating down this country like it's a bitch. Number one, It's the first country that stopped slavery. It was not the first to get involved in it. Let's get that straight. And remember, this country was ruthless to its own. Ruthless to its own. And it was the church and the various churches that set up schools. And Robert Owen, I mean, come on down. You've got to read real history to understand where you stand, bruv. If you're a son of the soil, know where you stand. Know what's happened before you stood up there.
So is it
and don't be joining people to say, white people this and white people that. Because the people that you're supporting are the leftists.
Is it psychologically viable? Is it correct psychologically to have this thing in our consciousness 24/7? To heal, and we suffer from.
What do you mean? Have what in the mind consciously 24/7?
Consistently about our inferiority. We've been enslaved. Your ancestors have been in this. Like they do all the time.
Hold on there. I never had this inferiority.
No.
So I know whatever instilled that in me. So I don't know where that comes from.
What
do you mean by this inferior? I don't have it.
Well, if you're enslaved, you're inferior, don't you? If somebody conquers your house, you're inferior, brethren. Otherwise, you wouldn't be conquered. You see what I'm saying? And then
you ever been in jail?
No. I don't intend to neither.
Never been in prison?
No.
Okay.
No way.
Let me give you an example. I was a prison officer.
Oh, you?
And, yeah.
Okay.
And we had a guy named, you could tap him up. You could tap him up on YouTube. I can't. Put it this way. He was an art forger. And, he wasn't an art forger, but he happened to have a piece of metal in his hand, and he corralled an artist to start forging for him, and would wave the piece of metal in his face, type of thing, if he didn't continue to do this thing. So House of Cards came around him. I didn't know. All I knew about him was he's so deferential and so polite. When the documentary went out, I was like, damn, is that you? I was like, you're my brother, Richard. You're my boy. And you know what I mean? You wouldn't believe it coming out of this guy's mouth, what he did. But he was very intelligent. So I don't say, and of course, I don't equate deviousness. All right, let me break down something that you said about intelligence, so people get it quite clear. It's very important what you just said about superior and inferior. If you were as an old lady, for argument's sake, and you're at the bus stop, and some guy comes up to you and snatches your bag. Now, number one, he's either done it before and he's sized up that I can steal this bag from this woman, get away with it, run down this avenue and go, right? Does it make you, the person who was waiting at the bus stop, and the bus is coming and this guy just stole your stuff, does it make him more intelligent than you?
No.
Does it make him superior?
Well, it does. Because
or does it define to you the fact that he's insuperior?
All right. Reese, I'm going to leave it there now. Reese,
he's lacking.
Yeah, okay, I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
I know where you're coming from. I want to thank you. Let someone else come in, then you can always come back later. Let someone else come in now, right? Right, Reese? Thank you very much, man. Yeah,
what you done? You know what I want?
No, man, we've been in it for a while now. Someone else want to come in, yeah? You know
what
I mean?
I've got some more invitation, Richard.
No, don't worry, man.
You really want to get rid of me?
No.
You don't love me no more?
Yo, I'll speak to you later, Reese. Enough respect, man. Bless her. All right. Thank you, Reese. Easy. Oh, yeah, we're having a bit of fun. You have to laugh, innit? But it's true. But I just want people to realise that, opinions on this is very important, because it is what we're travelling. I mean, don't forget, we're in the minority fringe groups that keep this up. The majority of blacks they won't even give it the time of day, brethren. Otherwise, there'll be more of us rallying around that kind of idea. But it's obviously psychologically incorrect as far as I'm. Well, let's see what you say. So if you agree or disagree, call us on 07440. Not my opinion, really. It's your opinion. 370200. Now repeat 07440370200. Is it psychologically correct? Has anyone done any research on it? Is any psychologists are listening? What is the best way? If we're suffering from post-traumatic slave syndrome, as we say we do, we agreed, there was a consensus on this, that we are suffering from that. Then how do you deal with that then? What is, I know that Dr. DeGroy, whatever her name, I pronounce her name, she says that we are. And I know the ISIS paper gives us reasons for certain things, about the problem awareness, going around in circles. In other words, problem perception and back to problem awareness. No real change in that direction when we keep perceiving the problems in our community. And the fact is that we've been doing the same thing for the last 30 odd years, hitting our head against the same proverbial brick wall, right? Getting nowhere pretty quick, and these little what do you call them? Setians, to give a better name for them, will make a living off of that, constantly reliving. Because you know what? In understanding things as I do understand them, and checking and doing my research, I was that same fellow that did the research on the psyche, that says that when you relive, you go back into the past. And that's a projection of yourself. You know, I thought that's very profound, really, because it's the same thing that the Metanuta says. We're multidimensional. This present projection in this present here is me, but there's a version of me somewhere out there else. I thought that was quite good. So when I visit the past, or when I remember, because if I remember myself this morning before I got up, I'm now living now. I'm at this moment thinking about, if I was to think back to this morning when I got up, right? Then that version of myself getting up could have been thinking about where I am now. You see what I'm saying to you? But I'm here now, remembering back there. So that version of myself, what I'm projecting, is actually perpetually living the past. Not then only, but right here, right now. So I'm living the past as I remember. And this way it becomes very useful as a tool for psychological healing. Because whenever I visit myself in the past, I must know what I'm doing when I visit there. Because if I visit the past, no, I'm not going to say this now. I'm going to leave it. I don't want to put people off and give people ideas. I want you to tell me, is it psychologically correct to have this notion of us being enslaved forever before our face if we are suffering from post-traumatic slave syndrome? I won't get much call on this. I know I won't. Because people are afraid of these things. They're afraid. They're talking about Heru being in denial. They have more denial than I could ever be. Because they won't even face up the facts. They could be wrong. And if they had to stop doing it, they wouldn't be able to do this. If their healing depended on this ability to ignore, not even forget, but to ignore the past, then is a better word, I think, than, because they go lulali when I say forget the past. So let's use a better word which is acceptable, I think. It is that if I ignore the past, then, because that means it still comes into your sphere of awareness. Those of you who think that it's good for it to come back into the sphere of our awareness, so we can play with it, we can hug it, we can relive it. If that's what you want, well, obviously you can do this. But so we use the word ignore. And that's one of the abilities that we'd be supposed to acquire anyway if you're in the mystery system, or if you're a real African, put it that way. If you're a real African, in the past you would have learnt menab. the ability to ignore emotional pain. You see? How many of us have even developed that skill? And why would you think that you would need such a skill if it was correct to retain that memory, reliving it constantly? That version of yourself is enslaved, brethren. See, I'm giving away the thing in it. All right, let's leave it there. Numbers are 07440 370200. Now repeat, 07440 370200. Let's have your opinion on the fact, what is it? Do we forget in our psychological trauma that we're going through and our post-traumatic slave syndrome that we suffer from? Is it good, since we're suffering from these things, to constantly remind ourselves of our predecessors' enslavement? I want to hear from you. Call me. Let me know. Let me know and prove it to me. Those of you who have done the research and say, Heru, this is what it says here. It is good for, and then, you know what? I'm not too big to put my hand up and say, you know what? Fine. You know what I mean? Well, because I need to learn too. That's why I'm putting it out there. Those of you who have studied these things, if anyone studied at all, would then be able to tell me, in our state of post-traumatic slave syndrome, is it correct and good and proper for us to hold on to this imagery? Remember, it's only an imagery. We weren't there, you know, brethren. If it's in our genes, it's in our genes. What do you call it there? They call that thing, what they call it? No, genetic memory, but it's in our genes, passed down in our genes, generational trauma, that's it. We've been passing down this trauma for generations unto generations unto generations, and there's no notion how to stop it. How do we stop that? You're live on Genesis.
Well, as nobody called in, and you put out a
well, give them a chance, Reese. You have to give people a chance, man. But go on anyway.
Yeah,
go on. Quickly.
I don't want to. Really don't want to be dominating anything. Actually,
well, go on. Well, quickly. I'll give you a couple of minutes to do that.
Let me turn you down. Sorry, I'm turn that down. I've got Joy DeGruer's book, and it's an interesting book. But this is one of the planks why I would argue that the reparations movement is flawed. And it's flawed on many planks. I'm not going to offer them all. I'll just let them big mouths run their mouth. They'll get their Waterloo. I'll let them. Point number one. What happened in America is not the same as what happened in the Caribbean. Fact. I'll let that marinate. What happened in the Caribbean and the slave trade is not what happened in the U.S. If there were injustices, of course, but they're specific. You cannot say peonage, black codes, Jim Crow had anything to do with Caribbean people. But they faced prejudice, and still do today. I have encountered it in the judiciary. I have encountered it. I beat them, smashed them, but who do you appeal to? The same judiciary that's been racist. They cover up for themselves. Fine. That's it. That's how it goes. You know what I mean? I'm not arguing that, but I can give you some real good stories, right? So you have to deal with things by a case by case. It's almost as if the way the reparations movement is going, it's like somebody murdered somebody. Right. Let's forget the specifics of who killed who over what. Let's just go for all murderers, and we're going to fight this case for all murderers. Because we are arguing one specific case. But we're going to put them all in the same basket. very bad way of going about doing what you're doing. It's a failure. It's not going to work. Secondly, it was Jamoke Fashola of BBC, Nigerian chick who does the, I don't know if she still does it, In Spirit show. It starts about 6 o'clock, ends about 9 o'clock. And somebody rang in and spoke to her about reparations. And I've never heard anybody be so angry and anti-reparations than that left-wing bitch. And I'm sorry I said the B word. I apologize. But I was like, wow, what a sellout you are. You want to, hobnob around the London Community Choir, which is mainly Caribbean. You want to up there and get yourself going, but yet you don't want to recognize. And I can see why. Because at the end of the day, who sold who? Were there Africans involved in selling other Africans who later became a new people through inbreeding with slave masters and whatnot that became us? And this jealousy, if there's jealousy, or disdain, because maybe it's me, I thought I heard somebody say something about slave babies. Maybe that's not true, I don't know. I'm not trying to bring up old wounds. I do know that the youth on the street respect each other because they grow together. Now, you understand? But there's something that we people who are here and invited to this country before the influx of Africans, before the influx of Asians, need to understand. And we need to understand so it can be contextualized to us. And it was Yvette Carnell on YouTube who made the argument, and she wrapped herself in the American flag. She's a bit, she's a bit kind of lefty, but not really. You know what I mean? She's kind of there, coming from that perspective, but realizing the left is bull, right? So she wrapped herself in the flag, and you can go online and watch it yourself. And she put up the video of Barack Obama saying we're all immigrants and therefore kumbaya, we all deserve a piece of the pie. No. No, you don't. Those who come over the border from Mexico, El Salvador, wherever they come from, you don't deserve a piece of the pie. And I'm using this example so that you can get the bigger picture when it comes to the EU and those people thinking they get a piece of the pie they didn't pay into. No Mexicans. Mexico have their own country. If they don't like America, what's going on? They just hop over the border and go to Mexico. In fact, I don't want to hear nothing about them. Go back to Spain. See the country there. If you want to go all the way back. Like some people want to say, all the way back to Africa. But no, bottom line is, you're new people. You're not of the old country, if you will. So she was saying, well, and Ann Coulter, the white lady, the white woman, the white woman who wrote the piece that I've told you about, the Kwanzaa joke, right? Anybody that you know call themselves anything to do with any culture or Pan-Africanism and supports that, walk in that direction. Right? Anyway, she said it. Listen, I support Trump. She wrote the book In Trump We Trust. He's a bit of a prick right now, but that's up to him if he wants to leave his base that voted him in. He's going to get his own, right? Don't leave your base who voted you in. You know what I mean? Because the Republicans don't like him anyway. The point I'm making is, she was saying and you can go online and watch it, she said, listen, I'm not into Mexicans coming into this country. You don't get to come in and keep black people food. You didn't have Jim Crow. You didn't have slavery. You didn't have peonage. You're not the same. If we got anything to give, it's for the black people. Not for you to come and hop over here and act like you was. You weren't. You got Mexico. We had a fight. We divided shit up. You got your country, we got ours. And it's the same with, listen, Richard, real discussions have to be had. Real discussions have to be had about what really has happened, as opposed to what you feel good about. And none of you radio stations are brave enough to do it. Especially if the other one's got a lot of clout. You try and get the word in. You know what I mean? I'm like, come on now, dog. How long is it going to be? Real issues have to be discussed. You can't have people coming in eating your supper and saying, oh, yeah, well, my parents, they face racism and we're still just acting like the white racists, so let all the Europeans come in and yum your supper. What? They were the enemy for 70 years, bro.
Okay,
How are
Reese.
you going to let them come in and take up? You're sitting there. Hey, you personally, I think you're in the 60s, and you have a son who's in 30 or 20, and you're underneath your foot, say, for argument's sake, and you want him to have a council flat so he can spread his wings and understand what bills are paying, rather than sapping out your wages and acting like a fool and putting up gallon in a place and smoking weed. You want him to go out there and, hey, you pay the bills. But he can't do it, can he? Why? Because people like you and the rest of them are lefties, say let them come in and give them the flat. Remember, it used to be a waiting list. That means first come, first serve, which is your nation. But if you change away, like in 2005, that Labour did, not the Tories, I was going to tell you earlier on about how these guys have been fooling you, you cut me off, how they've been fooling you, and they're the worst people for you, and you cut me off. They changed it to a bidding system, which in fact means someone coming from Lithuania today can come in England tomorrow and get a flat before your son on Tuesday.
All right, Reese, we're going to leave it there. Let somebody else come in
Am
now.
I joking?
No, you're
Am
all
I-
right.
is
No,
that-
no, it's a fact. It's a fact. You said it, and I know it's a
Okay.
fact.
I'm leaving it. But I want them people to call in, man.
Don't
and
worry,
say,
they will,
am
man.
I chatting shit?
Yeah, man, don't worry. Let's see if someone calls in, okay?
All right,
Thank
cool.
you, man. Run off respect. You're in tune to the Genesis Radio People's Talk Show, and it's the Heru, your host. And we're talking about, is it viable psychologically? Is it helpful? Do we? Is it because we can't heal why we're struggling at the bottom of the scale at the moment? Confused, confounded, you know what I mean? Don't know where to go, no direction. What's happening? I mean, where is the majority of the blacks? 1.3 million blacks. What do they think? We can't even get any, what you call it there, on it. No opinions on from a majority of our black groups in here. It's always a minority. Kanye West talk about we black. Is it Kanye West? I don't know. Yeah, talk about black people that love slavery. They wanted to be enslaved. If they've been enslaved for 500 years, because they want to. I say it's because of the psychological trauma that we've suffered. We are suffering, and we keep acting out our trauma on the world stage. And I think that's what we're doing here right now, with no particular course of action, real strategy in doing anything to us. Because if we still got this post-traumatic slave syndrome, and there's nobody talking how to get rid of it, Dr. Gru only highlights it. He doesn't tell you how to get rid of it. I think ISIS paper do a better job. But there's no real psychological underpinning to our problem to say this is how you get rid of the post-traumatic slave syndrome. Whether it's good enough, whether it's good and conducive for us to keep reminding ourselves daily, reliving it daily. Is that the good way? Is that the right way to go? Because if we haven't established this, then we don't know what we're doing. Because we're not even sure. Yet we're always confused about what's the problem, what's wrong. And the thing that is wrong is we're still carrying this trauma. You see? And as long as we're still carrying this trauma, how can we be expected to make correct decisions? I don't care who you are. I don't care what kind of organization you've got. You will experience all of the trauma in your organization when people begin to backbite. People begin to crab in the barrel. You yourself begin to stab people in the back and stuff like that, and do all the atrocious things, inviting homosexuals in, selling us out on that topic as well. And to me, that's because they keep reliving this trauma all the time. You find now they're getting soft on their, people are beginning to get soft in the community. The ones who are out there, who are meant to be leading the charge and we ain't going to bow and death before dishonor. And it's like they're softening their stance, brethren, by having people in their organization, homosexuals, presenters, and in anything, members of the organization then, which are believing gender fluidity. I don't know whatever that means, whether that means lesbianism, right? Back to the liberation groups now. Are they softening their approach? Because they're telling you that it's right in your face, so it's Eddie there, so might as well just join in it. And that shows you battle weariness. Instead of developing, because we cannot develop because of the trauma, we haven't decided in our minds whether we need to turn a new page, especially for our generation to come. Is this what our generation is going to be carrying? So you're actually handing this over as a baton? So why are you handing over to your children? You're handing over this baton of enslavement to them to carry about and say, I am a slave. I was a slave. I am the children of a kidnapped people. My ancestors was kidnapped. Britain got rich through that. Can you listen how pathetic that sounds? But is this the right way? If this the way that you're saying that you're going to go about, we're going to ask for reparation. And the weirdest thing about it is, Africa isn't asking for reparation, brethren. Africa is not even acknowledging the diasporan. Her diasporan, and I've got it on my phone. I've joined this group which is called the Caribbean African Debate. So there is a debate going on with the CARICOM and the AU. And I wonder why the AU isn't recognizing. And you know what? If the AU backed the march for reparation, right? Even though CARICOM is coming together now and talking about reparation, but the AU isn't, and they need to ask the AU why. Because if they got 120 trillion pounds, they would, in every city, that they could support a march every year in every city, brethren, 10 times over. If they wanted to, if that was their aim, to get reparations off of the Europeans. And I wonder why. Is it because some of the Africans them took part in slavery, and we might have to ask them for reparation? I put up one time on Facebook, an African lady, what? She said, what? You want to come and ask us for reparation? I said, hang on a minute. I said, hold on. So why is that so surprising to you? She goes, after all this, we weren't the one that... I said, hang on a minute. It was done under your watch, right? And some of the African kings took part in, not all of them, some of them took part in it. So if we find all of those countries, African countries, that took part in slavery, and let them pay, brethren, reparation too, just reparations. At the moment, you've got these little African countries hiding. Is that why the AU don't want to recognize the call for reparation? She should be leading the charge and leading the call for reparation, not these little fringe groups all over the place with no money. They're always starting projects with no money, brethren. And they can't even go to any of the embassies and say, give us £10,000, please, for the start this march. We shouldn't be going to the government for the community for money. £10,000. That's peanuts, brethren, to 100 trillion. Come on, man. We should be going to every African embassy and say, give me £10,000, brethren. Right? Because, of what's happening. But psychologically, we relive it every day. Day in, day out. Looking into the mist. Trying to find the reasons why. Why is it happening to us? Nobody has come up with any reason to say why The whys and the wherefores. Why did slavery occur in the first place? And is it correct that we should continually living these groups that are rising out of the quagmire every day with the message of reparation, with the message of liberation, right? And there's no clear-cut avenue for that. And it makes it look silly if the mother is not asking for reparation. So what do we do? Numbers are 07440 370 and I repeat 07440 370 that's 07440 370 and let's hear your opinion on it. I know I got my opinion, but I want to keep away from my personal opinion at the moment. I've done a lot of research on this, and I think the psychology is important. Do we continue to have this generational trauma passed on? Is there anything we can do about it? Very important. I haven't heard people talk about that. All I heard them talking about coming out of the country and going back to Africa with the trauma. Who's to tell that when we go back there, we're going to start demand certain things in our traumatic state? Do they even trust us to know that we'll come back from trauma and coming over their country? Right? Do they even want us there, brethren, in our state? Are they providing any healing? Are they providing any counseling? The Africans should provide this for our people. Provide it. Otherwise you say, do it ourselves. Do it ourselves. If we do it ourselves, yeah, how can somebody who's got a mental problem do it themselves? Come on, don't be silly now. With all the people in Moseley, right, looking about themselves. Come on. Right? Are they their own doctors in Moseley? Is it the fact that the lunatic is in charge of the asylum? Is that what you're trying to say? That the lunatic must be in charge of the asylum? You come and tell me that I should go and find my own counselling. What kind of madness is that, brethren? Can a madman heal himself? He doesn't know what time of day is it, brethren. You expect a madman or expect somebody that's traumatized to heal themselves? And we don't even have anybody to say, okay, let's counsel these people. Africa should be saying, okay, here's what I'm going to do for you diasporans. I'm going to get a building. I'm going to provide teachers. I'm going to pay counselors, right? So that in your community, you can attend this school and you can attend trauma rehabilitation. Nothing like that has been said. Because we are expected to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps and get on with it. Regardless. That's why we make the mistakes we make. That's why we have the kind of wilted organizations that we have. Where people are bearing them backside for you to kiss it. And you people taking advantage of everybody else everywhere within the community. Even the softening of the acceptance of homosexuality creeping in, brethren. It's already there. It's already there. Homosexual presenters with lesbianism and homosexual DJs that play in clubs are the ones that we're listening to. Secretly softening us up. And we don't even know that they indulge in these perversions. They hide behind this perversion, right? And telling you about Africa and the liberation. And they're just as bound up, even more so than they've ever been when they were enslaved. So, what are we saying as a community? Does anyone even care, brethren? Eh? We listen to people making great claims about themselves. But maybe they're indulging in it and we don't even know, brethren. The first thing they want to tell you is, don't worry about what I do behind closed. We're chatting about, brethren. Who are you talking to? Don't worry about what I do behind closed door. What I do behind closed door is none of... So, hang on. So what are you really trying to say? Is that really what you're trying to say to us? That we should not concern ourselves about what people do behind closed doors? but they can come up in front of our face after they finish do what they're doing and open their mouth to us, right, and try to advise us, giving us information after they've just done sleep with another woman or another man, brethren. How can that be? You know, we should go back and vet every one of those organizations ourselves. Yeah, we should infiltrate them somehow and say, yo, how many of you in here gay, brethren? I mean, I want to know how many of you in this organization is gay. Have you got the guts to say you are? You know what? And I would have respected them and said, I am. You know, okay, fine. You know, I would respect somebody that has got the guts to say this. Right? But the whole thing's been covered up, and it will continue to be covered up, guaranteed, by some of these leaders who may have indulged in it themselves. How do you know? I expect a tightening up of this thing against homosexuality and perversion. I expect a tightening up, not a slackening and a tacit agreement and tacit acceptance of that perversion. And you're still talking about liberation? You're still talking about liberation, and you know, say, you well know, say you're gay. You well know. If you want help, well, fine. You know, come and get some help, brethren. We're not averse to helping people change their perversion if they can. If somebody's a homosexual, of course they can change it if they can. And we will help them and recommend that we do help them change it, their sickness. You know. But if you pretend like you're some big shot and you know you're indulging in this perversion, brethren, and you're going like you're some hot thing, one day the bottom must drop out, innit? You know what I'm saying? Every day bucket go a well. One day the bottom must drop out. You're never going to miss the water until the well run dry. We don't vet our people anymore, brethren. You know, we don't vet our people. We don't know nothing about what they're doing, right, and how they're feeling. Because if you're in an organization and you well know the criteria of a person, and you allow that person to administer to the public, brethren, that means something is telling me something. You know individuals are perverted, and you continue to big them up, brethren. And you continue to allow them. That simply means something to me. That simply means that's saying something, innit? There's no smoke without fire, brethren. So if we're in a perverted state, or if we're in a state of trauma, nobody's looking about trauma. Everybody wants to go back to Africa. Africa must be saying, no, stay over there with your trauma. We are coming. You're mad. You are mad people can come into my country. You don't tell everybody to say you're nuts already. You suffer from post-traumatic slave syndrome. Alright. I'll give you 2 minutes to go, Bird Trek. Go on, fire.
Yeah. What I'm saying is there's a lot of silent listeners, but no one willing to call. And you're saying now, you're trying to make me touch in different ways. Now I've been listening to you, and you said the organisation, which we know what organisation Reese and you are talking about, and inviting homosexuals in. And now, they didn't want to do this on purpose. They didn't want to do this, but unfortunately, with all the cases now that's against them right now, and they wanted to do that so they can then say to the judge, hold on a minute, there you go, we're not prejudiced against. But then what they can do is they can always say, well, we're against homosexuality, you know. And the realism is, look, apart from Genesis right now, no other community station goes above levels, apart from Genesis right now.
That's right.
A long time ago, they were cussing Power Jam, which had all the talk show from 5 in the afternoon till 5 in the morning. They were cursing them. And this one person, because he used to, we know the presenter now, he's on another community station, but he used to scream and think, well, I felt his pain. I used to think the same way. And people were cussing them, cussing him, because he was screaming to death and he was screaming in pain and he was upset, and he did use words that were, with derogatory sound for homosexuality. But I understood where he was coming from, because he had enough. He really had enough of all these things. Yeah? But nobody out there, look, there's a lot of people, and this is what I'm really upset about. Nobody out there has the guts to put all these talk shows on YouTube, apart from me, who tries to think a little time so I can edit it, all the music out, and all the things they're doing copyright. And no one, I know you're cussing the to Africa groups, but nobody out there is willing to put all these. There's a many, that station Power Jam that closed down. There's nobody that puts the classic Power Jam shows on. Nobody is willing. I know they have it, but no one's willing to do it. No one's willing to do it. Tomorrow, the other day, somebody can easily say, well, you know what? None of these community stations, none of it anymore. Yeah, we're going to listen to a crappy mainstream station. What the hell are you going to do if they bring back the law where they will raid it and this and that? I know the Black Africa group won't help you. I know the thing won't help you. So what the hell is everyone going to do? And apart from me right now, if I'm wrong, then anyone can call up. If I'm wrong, then anyone can come here and call up. And apart from me, who's trying to record the show, and it takes 2 days. Yeah. Sometimes it takes hours and 2 days to not just edit the video and just put it on YouTube. The internet is not the best broadband. I've got Talk broadband. It's not the best. It's not Blue Yonder where you can do it just an hour. And sometimes no one has the guts or the thing to do this kind of thing. I know they know how to do it, but apart from me, no one's willing to do it. And I know there's many out there that are silent listeners. Indian, Chinese, you name it. But none of them have the thing to put it on YouTube. Right. And I know many of you out there have the classic Power Jam shows, but none of you are willing to put it on YouTube. Because tomorrow, the other day, this is all going to be memorabilia. Yeah. Well, answer that then. I'm very upset. Answer that.
Let's see what they do.
God.
Nice one.
Answer that.
Yeah, man. Respect for that, Bertrand. Yeah. Because the thing about it, I listened to a YouTube clipping today by Polite. He was confronting the Hebrew Israelites. Polite. And he was saying the Hebrew Israelites, this is how traumatized we really are, because remember, these are the fringe groups. Especially America got the worst fringe groups, the traumatic groups. They're always angry. But anyway, this Polite was there having an argument with a bunch. It was, they swear and all that. Some people feel at home with that, but I don't. I don't think I need to. But that's how traumatized we really are as a people. Not only in this country, but in Caribbean and in America, right? Those are the diasporas outside of Africa that belonged to Africa at one point. And so they were having an argument, both blacks, and they were like, Hebrew Israelites were saying that it's all right to have sex with 12-year. When a girl reaches 12, it's all right to have sex with her. And I'm thinking, what are you saying, brethren? As long as she has a menstruation, she's up. The Bible says, and you read from the Bible. You read from the Bible where it says if someone has a child and she's of age and she has and he wants to do it and it pleases him, so he shall. I'm thinking you're rationalizing a perversion here. You're using a fictitious book to rationalize a perversion. Your perversion, even if it's, where do you get off with this? And this is all states of trauma that we keep. This is where we're going to be leading ourselves, brethren. You got these little fringe groups that are coming up all over the gaff. Hebrew Israelites, this, that, back to Africa, this, and instead of the whole of the traumatized, diasporans, right, come together and seek help, brethren. Feature on things that's going to help them psychologically, heal them, right? Take them away from this unconscious trauma thing that's happening to them. Reason why they've been making these kind of weird decisions, brethren, is because of the result of trauma. Seeking in the fictitious book for reasonings because of their trauma, and not addressing the thing, and carrying on normal, telling people, oh, you must go and heal yourself. How can you heal yourself? If we agree that our kind is traumatized, then the statement, none but ourselves can heal our kind, is a fallacy. You can't heal a kind if you're traumatized. You can't go to Mosley and expect the inmates to heal themselves. That's only like, well, that's why I see all of these little, what you call it, little cliches that we use. We use that, we are our own worst enemy with cliches, brethren. And none of the cliches make any sense. You being a traumatized person cannot heal yourself. But at the end of the day, if you're looking about the psychology and you read on the psychology, then you can have the life force heal you. You can't heal yourself. The life force will have to heal you. You understand? And where the damage is done. Because only the life force and its intelligence. And we've got to admit that the life force is intelligent, brethren. Because it knows how to run the universe. So if the life force can come to your aid and come to our aid, as I said, it's embedded in the tree of life. How are you going to reorientate your psyche and about yourself? And again, you've got to make the correct imagery about yourself. Not the one that they're trying to give us as a slave. Why would you want to give me an image of me being a slave? And if I said to you, you have to see a different image. You have to see yourself sitting on the throne with the white crown of Egypt, holding the crook and the frail. You know what I mean? And you holding that for an hour or two, without any words, without any mental chattering. You put your left brain to sleep. The healing waters will rush in because the life force will see that, rather than the life force seeing a slave, brethren. Because the life force acts on the content of the mind. And if this is what you got in your mind, then the life force is going to think, well, that's what you want. So we re-enslave ourselves over and over. We're actually living what our ancestors lived, brethren. Do you think that's what the ancestors want? How do you know that's what the ancestors want? Who says that the ancestors want to feel our pain? Did they tell you that? Did you get a message from them saying, I want you to feel the whip on your back as it cut my back open? I want you to feel it. I want you to feel the chains around my ankles. I want you to feel it. And you go and you put the chains around your ankle, brethren, in your mind, in a state of trance. You don't even know that you're in a state of trance. Emotions fling people into trance. That's why we should spend time studying ourselves, like I do on my show during the week. But I know it falls on deaf ears because not everybody's ready at the moment on them levels. So if you're not up for it, then well, okay, carry on the level then. But if you know that you're up for it, and you know you want the life force to heal you rather than yourself, brethren, but your life force is your true self. You see where I'm coming from with this? So the life force is your true self, then it heals. The reason why it heals, it wasn't damaged in the first place. Look at that, eh? Healing straight away. Your not self was damaged. Damage to the brain was done. But the brain's not even you in any sense. You live not according to your brains. You live through your brains. There's a repository of programs, number one. But it's not your true self, brethren. So your true self then is apart from that not self and all of its functionings, which doesn't have, the true self doesn't have the conditionings of the not self. So straight away, it's just a matter of reorientation in your mind, then the healing is done, Once your mind is not real properly orientated. So this argument about what Paulite was having with the Hebrew Israelites, trying to rationalize and justify having sex with 12-year-old children because they have a period they're ready. You should check it out. Big argument until Paulite was casting them off. And they were trying to rationalize and justify. Oh, we don't do it, but then what are you trying to rationalize it for then? Oh, and Paulite said, well, you said they are women. So when you have sex with them, are they women? I say yes, they're women. So then if you say that they are women, why wouldn't you want to look at them then? And he couldn't answer that. And he had to deny it. But you said that they're women. So you're going looking at little 12-year-olds and he goes, no. Well, you said that. Then why wouldn't you? If you claim that they're women, then why wouldn't you do that? And they were baffled. This is what I'm talking about, traumatized minds, brethren. And these traumatized fringe groups that pop up all over the place with traumatized organizations, brethren. And traumatized leadership. People that are suffering from nervous breakdowns and all that kind of thing and are on medication, brethren, are leading the thing. Are you not surprised why we're not anywhere? It's not rocket science to work it out. And we're going to go on for another 40 odd years with the same. When these ones pop off, the only thing that might rescue us is because these ones will pop off, brethren. Time will take care of them. You know what I mean? Because they have no intention. Because they can't add the fact that we need closure. And I only heard from 2 people today. Only 2 people have an opinion on this. Is it such a big thing that you're afraid that you can't face it, brethren? Because it might upset your apple cart. The other day, I was in a group, an activist group it's called, and I made some statement and a man jumped straight down on me. Hey, I can't listen to this toxic argument with this misguided toxic. I goes, hang on a minute. I didn't ask you to join in the argument when his brother was talking, brethren. But you feel yourself as the champion of the group and the intellectual champion of the group. So you're going to come to the group's rescue because I'm saying things which you don't want the group to hear. You know what I mean? I am causing a rift in the world. I said, yeah, am I causing a rift in what world? In the black world. Really? I said, really? I said, the only rift I'm causing is in the 23rd chapter of your imagination, brethren. You are, to me, anyway, I didn't say to him, I just look at him as an oppressor. Because he wants to keep the group, the rest of the diasporan, down. There's no healing process going on. So those groups that are responsible for the ideology, going back to Africa with a broke up self, you see what I'm saying, would scare the Africans when they hear, I'm coming home. They would say, because you haven't heard anything from any African. I'm not talking about some little African you might hear one and do, oh yes, come on brother, come. Yeah, rabbit, don't listen to them people, eh? We want to hear it from the grassroots. And no one's ever said anything about it. Nobody noticed. We're going around, I'm the only one that's been banging this drum. You really need more help than... Look, Africa don't need help. We're the ones that need it. How about throwing some money our way, brethren? Why is it we have to keep emptying our pockets and take out the little money that's supposed to be circling around more than once and be somebody come sucking it out to send to a country that's got 120 trillion pounds, brethren, combined? Where is the wisdom in all of this? Where's all these wise back to Africa leaders? Huh? We don't have any money in any case. Well, we have money, but we're spending it outside of our community. The problem is not going back to Africa is not the problem. If you're an African subject, then the way they talk about it is like you can just go back tomorrow and just sit down in Africa. I'm home. You don't need nothing. You just walk in. Is that the case? I don't know. Maybe that's the case. Just walking, just pack bags of tomatoes. I'm living there. You're African subject, or you're not subject to the laws where you have to be naturalized, or I don't know the way they talk about it. Like it don't just pack your bags and just walk straight in there, brethren, and you're okay. You don't have to go to no government. Just build a house, and you're fine. I don't know. Maybe that's the way it is in every African country. You're not required to have a passport. You're not required to naturalize, or the border, or whatever landing thing you want to talk about, and registration. You don't need to register. Just go there and just bloody build a house somewhere. That's the impression that they give us. But at the end of the day, if you know within yourself, you look deep within your psyche, and understand then that if I'm traumatized, then that simply means I will make traumatized decisions. You see? It's not rocket science to work that out. I'll be making traumatized decisions then if I'm traumatized and I haven't sorted the trauma out. They're more concerned about exiting England and going straight back. They're more concerned about sucking the money out of our community, right, and taking it, sending it to the motherland, who's got 120 trillion. Who needs help? Us or them? Definitely not them. 54 country states that had already organized themselves, while we here not organizing ourselves here around issues. They only the other day when the Windrush came in, everybody was when the gun thing, before the gun thing, and everybody's killing each other, and the youth them so frustrated, right? It's not really the adults' fault neither. Youths were frustrated. Maybe they didn't see no way out. Why did they do these things? You haven't even got the answer, because you never set up no inquiry as to go and meet and talk to the youths and ask them what the hell is going on. What's this reason for? Are they trying to get our attention or something? Or just feel like we're hopeless? They ain't going to bother with us. They're talking about Africa too much. They don't care about the youths here. They care about youths 10,000 miles away. Doesn't make any sense. So when the situation arises and the crisis comes on their doorstep, the little group morphs into something else now, quickly morphs into the group that's got the most attention. And as soon as they put their penny's worth in, and then after a while, when everything's quieting down, they go, right, now, back to Africa now, quick, let's quieten down now. Stepping down, you got to go to Africa, They haven't even solved the problem, but they're quick to go back to the situation what they left in the first place, thinking that it's healed. Well, knowing that it's not healed, they quickly substitute that time when everything's quieting down and start talk straight away about going back to the motherland. That make any sense to you? There's no set up, no inquiry. Nothing here set up at all. They don't have any intention of setting nothing up here. They want to make your environment here so hostile that you want to leave tomorrow. So the more hostile they make the environment for you, the more wickedly they talk about the system, the more you'd want to get out quickly. See, very smart move, brethren. How can you be for community and want to suck every last penny out of the community and send it to a place that has more help? Africa's always had help, whether it's good or indifferent or whatever. They'll get something out of it. Everybody's always on it, sending money to Africa. Charities. Africa's full of charities, brethren. Where is the charity for our group here in the diaspora, in the UK, London, South East, Peckham to be exact? Where is that? Who's going to help us? Is anybody gathering any money in our name? Why, we don't need it? Is that what you're trying to say? We don't need it? Oh, why? Just get up and get on with it, mate. What are you talking about? What money do you want? Get on with it. And give me the money, we'll send it go. Get on and do some work, brethren. Go and start a business, so give me the money so we'll send it back home. Not give me the money. You don't know home. There's only one home, you know, the one that you're born in, brethren. You can have fantasy about another home 10,000 miles away. You can have all the fantasy you like about it. The reality is there any work up there waiting for you? Are you going to set up a business over there? Why can't you set up a business here? You could trade with Africa. Trading with Africa is a different thing. But scooping up the money, every penny, and putting it, investing in a land that you're actually then cannot be the group that's going to. You're live on Genesis.
Well, good afternoon, brother. I was just listening to your show for the past couple of hours. I just wanted to add my 2 bits.
Okay, fine.
If that's okay.
Yeah, man. Enough.
Yeah.
Enough respect.
I agree with a lot of what you say. I mean, I'm not sure, what your ideas are, but my take is that I, as far as the reparation thing goes, I mean, I'm similar to yourself in the sense that I'm very disillusioned with the so-called Black Power movement, and I've been for years. I think this is my personal opinion. I think a lot of people who are on this Black Power thing and we're going to do this, a lot of them are insecure people and they're very angry and upset about stuff.
That's right.
And they just need to go and air it. And my view is that a lot of people who say we'll get up and do something, it's about their ego. It's not about solving problems.
That's right.
I don't even think half of them understand, the problems, and a lot of them are not really, have never sort of done a degree in African history, or they haven't got a business degree or set up a multinational, run a company, or to me.
Sorry, I don't cut you. See, the thing about the reason why they haven't done it because they don't believe in degree. They don't believe in getting trained, go to study. You see, they're the first one to say, down by the girls' college, don't study now. We ain't study for, eh? Look at those people who got papers, and they're always against people with papers, brethren, because they want to remain ignorant. I don't know why.
And at the same time, they say education.
You see, confusing. This is what I'm saying. I've been on the Liberator. I think a lot of them have got, it's just their personal thing. Yeah.
Because if tomorrow there was a business plan to say, one of the things I says, let's set up a charity here run by black people for black people, or something, a chain store. Then they wouldn't be interested in something like that. It has to be, police brutality, the police, and it never seems to be anything that's going to bring millions of pounds in terms of turnover and or anything boring or infrastructure. That's my take. Anyway, what I've seen.
Well, look at it this way. We have 300. Don't cut you. 300. I checked it out. They said that black community, African community in England got £300 billion spending money. That's what they spend every annum. But it doesn't go around. It doesn't go around the community. Not even once, brethren. Something is wrong there. So why we have people screaming about going back to Africa, go back, leave the community? Those groups can't be the catalyst for they don't even see our groups, our community developing at all. They don't see that. All they see is packing stuff up. It's repatriation, So those groups can't be a catalyst for our development. We don't have a group.
As for the repatriation or the reparation movement, I think, you sort of feel you should support your community, even though I knew it was nonsense from time. I didn't actually, you go along with people because you're thinking, well, your brethren them are doing it, so help them out.
Yeah.
But I don't think that a lot of the people who saying, we'll fight for reparation, are actually, they say it's about repair.
Yeah, I don't
So
understand
if it's about repair and only 1% is about money, why are they spending all their time
£8,000
going begging? Oh, I never understand.
That's a madness, bro.
Why isn't, they got a mobilization of 1,000 black businessmen and, I never understand why, they say it's about repair and the money is 1% of the problem, but you spend 99% of the time
looking the money.
Hoping to get a signature, hoping to get this, hoping to get that. For what end? I don't think they genuinely believe they're ever going to get anywhere.
Well, look,
I think people just do it because they're frustrated. And it's just a big ego trip, and it's a day out, and, and let's go on a bar, let's go to this.
And you know what?
Yeah, me and my brethren.
Yeah, and they've got stalls, and they start selling to each other. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's a solemn day to want to start to sell to each other, surely. You know,
Sorry?
it's a solemn day. They sell to each other, don't they? They have stalls and all that. There's nothing wrong in having. I know there's nothing wrong in doing that, but on that day, it's a very solemn day. I don't think you should be selling anything really.
Which day? Which day? The Reformation Day?
Yeah, the march. The march is. You know, they've got some groups got a march in the square there in Brixton before they go down to Parliament.
Yeah. Sorry, the Reparation March. Okay.
Yeah, and
they shouldn't be selling to each other.
Well, I don't think so. At such a solemn moment.
I don't know.
You know
I mean, I know that if you speak to 99% of the people on you know, and you ask them how do you earn your money, and they won't tell you it's from, you know, me being a black power man. They'll say I go and work for some enemy and I pay my bills. I do it through nothing to do with my organisation.
That's right.
You know, there's no they don't have networks of business or, you know, legal things or anything like that.
Nothing at all.
It's about, well, you know, God, they're waiting for a police situation. It's, oh, police. I don't understand why you spend so much time when they ain't going to feed you, ain't going to clothe you, ain't going to build your house, ain't going to pay you. You know, I think that's one of the reasons why you never see, you could go to, you know, probably from the Caribbean, go to any Caribbean country and see how many of them are sitting there screaming black power. Nobody.
No, you don't.
Everybody's trying to earn a living, put money on the table, house, land. Nobody, you know, if they went to Africa tomorrow, nobody in Africa would be interested.
This is what I'm saying.
It wouldn't appeal to.
This is what I'm saying.
You know, it's not. If you're supposed to have solutions and you're solving problems, nobody in Africa or in the Caribbean or any government or any business there, you wouldn't get 10 people if you get 10 people. You know what I mean?
Well, they got
I can say that. You go to Caribbean now, and there's no Black Power movement over there.
Well, you got the CARICOM. CARICOM, you heard of CARICOM?
Yeah.
They're now asking for, talking about getting countries to ask for reparation now. But I'm thinking to myself, psychologically, is that repairing our damage? If we're injured psychologically, we need to sort that out, isn't it? You know what I mean? Do you think so?
Absolutely. But that comes from us working together. It doesn't come from whatever you got to put it. The stuff that you hear from so-called Pan-Africanists.
Well, I don't know about Pan-Africanism.
No, the Pan-Africanist agenda is going to solve our problems.
Well,
it helps, you know.
Well,
I know a lot of people who have been abused, who have been, you know, a lot of abuse goes on. They don't tell you about that.
Yeah. Well, is this what
you know?
Pan-Africanism, right?
You know, like you, I've been and seen them. Why is it they don't, you know, you them call, come, show us how much money you've spent in the past year, how many members you've got, put them in your accounts like everybody else.
Yeah. Well,
you don't get practical things. I mean, I could list things all day long. You don't get, you know, we account to the community. They've never accounted to anybody. You can't ask them nothing. You didn't ask them anything about, you know.
You're joking,
I mean, it's just about preaching to you, like church.
No,
you go to church, they preach to you.
That's
they
right.
tell you what you're going to do. They tell you all about your life.
You get
and
excited.
You must go and follow them.
Yeah, you get excited, jump up and down. Yeah, you know, it's taken advantage. That's what I'm saying. Psychologically, we've been taken advantage of. Really, when you think about it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Big time.
I agree with that. That's fine.
It's about time that we start to try to address the situation where we, you know, we're in England, right? You know, back to Africa's one place. Fine, we can trade with Africa all day long. Fine, but the thing is, do we want to build our community here? Are we thinking about this? Or are we going to abandon the community then? Is that what they say? Forget about our youths killing themselves, shooting them. The youths ain't got given no hope from us. You see? Show them what we're doing, you know. It's a sad case, really. Confusion twice confounded, you know. But
yeah, I agree. Listen, those people don't know anything about it. 80% of people who claim they're black, they couldn't survive 10 minutes in Africa.
Yeah, that's
you know,
right.
They have polygamy, they pound yam. These sisters say they couldn't last 10 minutes.
You know that. Brother, I've got...
You know what African people, the lives, you know, they couldn't last in the Caribbean. People go and dig yam.
Well, you know...
They haven't got a, you know, I mean...
You should call in...
Don't mind talking about life here. I mean...
Yeah, but you should call in...
I think it's a personal thing. I don't think that they even think through the realities of running a country.
Well, I'll tell you what, brother, you should call in earlier because I've got 2 minutes left, a minute left. So
Okay.
Yeah?
All
So
right.
next time, yeah?
Thanks for letting me
bless
speak.
upon a
Keep up
time.
the show and
Yeah, man.
all the best.
Thank you. Yep. Well, folks, I have come to the end of the show now, and there's only one thing left for me to say. And that is what I always say. Tune in tomorrow from 1 o'clock in the afternoon. This is Heru saying I am out.
And be yourself. Genesis Radio.